I am so early to the party. I didn't realize that we were starting with half an hour delay. I think I might have read this comment in some Bridge Winners thread that I was checking in on, but I guess that means we're here for an extra half hour at the start. We can maybe do something during the half hour. Who knows? Maybe I'll play like a daily celeb challenge. Speaking of, I guess I'll wait to make an announcement until more people are here. But I will be the celeb tomorrow on Into Bridge. So if you're into that, then you should go check it out. Yeah, let's go figure out exactly what's going on. I think it was in this thread that I saw something. Which is kind of amusing. Mixed feelings about Real Bridge Vugraph by Bart Westra. No idea who that is. I just watched the Solway final on Real Bridge. First of all, very grateful to the people who made it possible to view such an important match, to the video commentators, and the invaluable Al Hollander who explained all bids. Hey, Eric. I realized that it is the first time that Real Bridge is used as a medium, and while I valued the overall experience, I think some improvements could be made. I missed the explanations of the bidding by the operator. If it weren't for Al Hollander, who did this in the comments, I think I did a pretty good job in general with my bidding interpretation this time. But it's always difficult, and even having system cards doesn't always give us the information we need because people change their system all the time. So the most updated system card for them from the most recent Bermutable, not always going to have the conventions they're playing. I was outright annoyed about all the people who made useless comments in the chat or were even trolling. Did we read this back in at the end of the Solway? I wish I could block them, or even better, if they were not allowed into the chat. The delay is a problem. We are often waiting a long time for the next board to start. It might be more satisfactory to start with a 30-minute delay so there are no or fewer intervals between. I would appreciate a feature to watch both tables in one screen. I mean, I still think that the biggest thing that you can do for online activities is improve user experience. So I think that updating graphics on your site and making it more friendly for people to click around and find out where things are is the most important thing. I know that some older people might not believe that, but I'm pretty sure that's just true. Players don't make their explanations easily, and yeah, operator issues with that. We will do the Reisinger with a 30-minute delay to see whether that solves the problem with slow tables holding up one report from fast tables. So I have the feeling that this is not going to work. I have the feeling that all they're going to do is they're going to change in their code delay equals 30 minutes instead of delay equals 15 minutes. And that's not going to solve the problem. Hey, sorry, I don't know why my Streamlabs doesn't have a YouTube chat. Let me open up YouTube chat. How long have I been streaming? I've only been streaming for like 5 minutes. How long will I be streaming today? For the first segment. So that'll be like 5 hours. To the question in YouTube chat. Peter Chan. Kelly asked who is in the semifinals. I have no idea. Oh, we can probably look at that. Maybe I'll go to ACBL Live. You know, let's do that. That's a good plan, right? We can take a look at who is going to be around. Anything interesting? Oh yeah, this guy was really angry. I propose an optional separate chat line showing only the fantastic Al Hollander, where he can explain system notes and perhaps, at his opinion and convenience, respond to kibitzer input questions. I don't think he has ever done that. I would pay a small fee for that and only that. On the BBO Vroograph, I mute the expert commentators. No, he might mute the non-expert commentators. I don't know about the expert ones. He might just mute all commentators because he doesn't isn't really interested in learning, as are most people. But okay, we got 27 minutes until the thing starts. I wonder if it's actually going to be smooth sailing or if it's just going to have like a delay after every board, but now we're starting 30 minutes later instead of 15. Let's go to ACBL Live. I basically never use this site, so maybe I'll figure out how to do it on the fly. All right, here's what we got. Reisinger border match teams. Leaderboards, maybe? Okay, these are the 20 teams that qualified. Is this better? Trying to see the difference in size. Maybe this is best. Okay, how are we doing? We have Frank Moulton playing with Zimmerman. We have Michel Klukovsky playing with Jacek Kalita. And we have Kamil Novak playing with Pyotr Marcinovsky. So basically Team Switzerland, that is in first. Qualifier, we have the nickel team. All 6 Americans. Let me get some water. One sec, be right back. Hey, Palm. Wasn't there a different semifinals 3 days ago? How frequent a bridge tournament? This is the same tournament. I don't know if you play in bridge tournaments yourself, but bridge tournaments tend to have multiple events that run sequentially. Some even run simultaneously. So, like, there are other national championship events that are going on concurrently with this, which are also in the semifinals right now. But yeah, the NABCs will have... they tend to have 3 or 4 major events that go back to back to back to back. And this is the second one that's being broadcast. So, yeah, in case you're curious. Okay, nickel team is in second. Jody Edmonds with Zach Grossack, Gear Helgamo, Short Brink, and Boss Driver in third, tied for third, fourth. You're new to not online bridge. No problem. Zagorin, usually a sponsored team that plays four-handed. So similar to like the McAllister team, will often play four-handed in big events. We have the Leibowitz team, or I guess it's the Grossack team, but Leibowitz is sponsoring it with Bill DeMandala, the Ribstep brothers, and Adam Grossack. They're in fifth. We have Team Fleischer with the Italians, Versace Cementa, the French pair, Bassis Lorenzini, and Chip Martel and Marty Fleischer. Then we have four-handed Kaplan and Rosenberg playing with Rosenberg and Platnick. So Adam Kaplan playing with Michael Rosenberg, Brian Platnick playing with Kevin Rosenberg. Seems like a fun little hookup there. Then we have an 8th, currently getting towards the middle of the pack. Anant Rathi, playing with Drew Hoskins, Jeffrey Ford, and Ray Miller. I wonder if this team is sponsored. I'm going to guess probably not. But I do not know. Anant has been on the channel a few times, helping me out with some commentary for events. So best of luck to him. We have Connie Goldberg with her regular squad, playing with Mickelson and Kulin. Looks like they picked up Antonio Palma as a 5th to substitute when Connie sits out. The Rombos, so looks like maybe a non-sponsored team, playing with Auken and Welland and Cope and Pask. Then a team that I've never heard of, I guess from France, Stéphane Masika, four-handed. Then we've got the same Shori team sitting kind of towards the middle of the standings. Hey, you're welcome, Kelly. Glad that we were able to find the info of who qualified so quickly. So there are Soloway winners, but Border Match is a completely different animal, and it only gets harder today. So Bramley and Woolsey, Weixel and Krikorian, Sam Lev and Fred Chang. Looks like maybe a sponsored team, although I'm not sure. Then a bunch of Polish players that I think I recognize a couple of these names. Salicki was in the Soloways. I think we saw them doing pretty well. They might have made it to the round of 8. Then we have Gupta, Vanita Gupta, playing with a bunch of the Bildas. Morton, Soren, and Dorte. And then they have Emil Jepsen and Simon Eckenberg rounding out that team. In 16th and 17th, we got Barrere, Crispin Barrere, Mark Perlmutter, Robert Thompson, and Daniel Molochko. Not familiar with too many of these players. I mean, I've heard of Perlmutter before, but don't know how strong of a team they are. We got the UK squad, Dyson, Liggins, Hanley Pritchard, and Townsend with 28, so they have a carryover of... I'm looking. These are the master points they've earned so far for the segments. Or, I mean, total. These are the master points they've earned total. Maybe I'll get carryover in a sec. We can probably back out of this and check a different spot. Wildowski, Daub, Gerard, and Lair, four-handed. Down in 18th, Tomasini, Byrne, Nodenbelt, and Norden. Another mostly UK squad. And then down in last place is the qualifier, Bob Hammond, Brian Glubach, Mitch Dunitz, Ifti Bakai, and Dan Jacob. So probably a sponsored team, but who knows? I mean, I don't know who this is specifically. And I'm not sure if Glubach would be playing on a non-sponsored team. Okay, let's see if we can find the... qualifiers. Is this going to tell me what I want? No, not quite. So these are the teams that didn't make it. And I mean, you can see that there are like quite a few relatively strong teams that that missed. Oh no. My girl Dana barely missed qualifying. Team Rosenthal, finals of the Soloways, did not qualify. Team McAllister, always a four-handed team with a sponsor. Very difficult four-handed with a sponsor, and the Reisinger. Shearson, another four-handed with the sponsored team. Gonna be tough to qualify. Our buddy Danny didn't make it, playing with Greg Humphreys, Adam Parrish. And then so on. So some teams down here just kind of in to fill out the movement. Maybe some pro teams that had sponsors that wanted to play, but yeah, a lot of the teams towards the bottom of the standings not really fit for this type of competition for sure. But lots of good players and good teams did not qualify. Team Overdeck didn't qualify, for example. They did pretty well in the Solway knockouts. It's a different form of scoring. The bulletin has it. George Brad says, let me keep clicking around. Okay, this is not helpful. Summary. This is not helpful. Okay, daily bulletin then. Saturday the 6th. Let's take a look. Reisinger. Scrolling. Okay, mixed pairs. This is just all that. Qualifiers in the Reisinger. Okay, here we go. Make this a little bit bigger. Is this the carryover? What is this? See, this says carryover at the top of the column. The Reisinger sheet does not say anything. And this doesn't make any sense as a carryover because the last place qualifier always starts with a 0 carryover. So I don't know what this is. I mean, maybe this is the carryover and they just decided to do something weird, but that's not how carryover normally works. So if that's the case, there is a 3 board difference between the first and last carryover, which makes a lot of sense. So anyway, this is where things stand after day 1. I'll be doing the first segment today, so not both, but just the first half, and then there will be a second half after the lunch break, but I am going to try and go to sleep after the stream. We'll be back again tomorrow to do the second half, or the first of the final sessions. So again, I'll be missing the final segment tomorrow, but we'll do the first half. And they qualify 10. It is played behind screens today. Okay, questions that I didn't get to because I was busy looking for info. George Brad asked, do you have to play it like match points? You've never played board a match. So mostly. I think if you just treat board a match like match points, you're going to do okay. The difference is that you are up against a single team. So taking actions that are let me try and think of a good example. Like at match points, let's say that you've gotten to a good contract, you've right-sided it. Let's say you're like in 3-0, you've protected your king from the opening lead or whatever. and then you decide on some line of play. You have two options for lines of play, and you decide on one where like you take a finesse and it works, and now you have like your 9 tricks in. I mean, at match points, at this point in most fields, you would be pretty happy, and you might just cash out for 9 tricks because like you've gotten a lot of favorable things happening to you. Like your system got you to a good spot. You judged well in the auction. You've kind of judged well in the play so far. And so that might get you like a 70% board already, and you'd be happy to just take your 70% board, right? Like you could take another finesse, for example, but if it's offside, you might go down, and then that ends up costing you, your 70% board. It turns it into like a 20% in a match point field. In board a match, once you've gotten to that spot, you might expect that the other table, especially in a strong competition like this with all very, very good teams and very strong players, would also be in this exact same position. They would have reasoned the exact same way in the auction, protected the king of diamonds or whatever from the opening lead, and decided on the right line of play and no trump. So now it becomes a lot more about, like, do you think it's 50% that finesse is onside, and instead of your normal match point calculations, which you're just like, well, I'm just going to cash out and take my 70% board. And so it's all about like trying to completely maximize your chances in every situation. So for that reason, it's relatively important to actually bid games at this form of scoring. Like the other table, if the other table judges that you are going to, that your side is just going to play on a part score, then if they can get to game and they can just make it, then they're in excellent shape. And so we'll probably see a lot of like overbidding to games on some hands, because like plus 400 or plus 600 is just going to beat whatever result happens in the other room. There's also going to be, I think, a little bit more in the way of doubling than you might see in match point fields, because in match point fields, a lot of your decision about doubling part scores is just like, well, sometimes the opponents overcompete and we double them on a part score. And doing that sometimes can get you a decent result, but sometimes it just results in you getting a 0 if the doubled part score goes down. Whereas here at board a match, kind of similarly, like you expect the other table to kind of get to the same position. And so if you think that your defense is going to be good enough to beat their contract, or if you think that, they might be overcompeting in this sequence, then we're going to see a lot of doubles. We will also see a lot of 4-3 major suit fits being played, because like players will be overcalling 4-card majors relatively frequently. They will play in 4-3 fits for a major suit game, because if you can get that one extra trick, you're going to do better than 3 no trump making, and that's going to win you the board. Yeah, I'm not sure what other sort of differences to go over. I mean, it's subtle, the difference between board a match and match points, but it is going to be significant, and we'll probably see a couple of those ideas. But I think in general, if you're going into your first board a match event and you just think of it as like, let me try and play match points, that's probably okay. One of the things that I've heard, which like I think is okay, is bid like imps and play like match points. So that kind of goes to this idea of overreaching a little bit to try and get to game. Because if you make the game bonus, like it doesn't matter what happens at the other table. Sometimes you bid and make 3-0 and your teammates come back and they're like, sorry, we had a disaster. We got doubled in 3 clubs and went minus 200. And you're like, don't worry, we won the board, right? Like bidding and making a game is a great way to cover for your teammates having a little bit of an accident, or not even necessarily an accident. It's just like they get overexcited and get doubled in a part score and go down a trick vulnerable. So we probably will see a little bit of competing for games for that reason. Nil Sarvid says, it's like match points, but you know your opponents are good. Something like that. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent way of thinking about it. Like, there just aren't really a ton of border match events where weak teams enter. And there certainly aren't border match events where weak teams enter and then qualify past day one. That's just mostly unheard of because every decision matters. Like, weak teams tend to be pretty bad at taking tricks in general, and taking tricks is the most important thing in border match. Like, if you're not doing so hot in the bidding, but like you get to some sort of contract, the best players are going to engineer a way where they will take the most number of tricks and possibly beat out whatever contract the other table is in. Like, if your side gets to 3 clubs and you know the other table is going to be in 2 hearts, you've got to play for that 10th trick in 3 clubs. And so, like, they might take a 20% line of play that will give them 10 tricks 20% of the time, but will go down in 3 clubs 80% of the time, just because they realize that they've gotten to the inferior contract and the other table is always going to be playing in the major suit. So this is the highest form of bridge, border match, for sure. And I don't know if that's because of the form of scoring or if it's because of the teams that enter, or a combination of both. I think it's probably because of the form of scoring, because every decision in the bidding matters, every decision in the card play matters, every over trick matters, every under trick matters, whether or not you double matters. There's no board where you can just like take an easy breather, right? Like, playing at imps in a 1 no trump contract, sure, a lot of players put some thought and effort into it because it can swing 5 imps on the board, but no one really cares. Sometimes you're in 1 no and you just have 7 tricks off the top as declare, and you can just close your eyes and go to sleep for the next 5 minutes while the defense works out what to do. Or maybe you just even claim at imps because plus 120 and plus 90 are the same result for the most part. But border match, you can't do that. 5-level decisions are equally important here and a little bit more challenging in general. These 5-level decisions at imps, not so difficult in a sense, because most of the time you'll be able to either figure out that the opponent's game is probably making and therefore a save is not going to be so costly, or that you already know your save is going to be relatively cheap and so you don't really care if the opponent's game is making. You just take the insurance. But at border match, you know, the difference between 500, 620, and 800 is a full board most of the time. Four minutes to go until we get underway. Eric, you played a pattern tournament. That is the form of scoring that is used during the OCBL events that I do broadcast for on the Bridge Champ site. I don't know how they combine the two, but it might be like some sort of 50-50 split, although I'm still not sure how the imps get translated in that regard, because they have to be scaled or normalized somehow. Like, is 0 to 4 imps considered a tie? Or like, where's the cutoff for a tie in terms of imps? Or is it like fractions of imp win loss get factored in? I hear that pattern is very popular in the UK specifically. like the letterer tournament that is hosted in the UK every year, the invite only thing, I believe is pattern scoring. That was the first time I had heard of it too when I did commentary for that event. I think last year or maybe 2 years ago. So what do we think? Is Team Shori going to take home another national title here? Are they going to be able to pull it through for the border match? Or is someone else going to win? I mean, Zimmerman is always going to be a top contender in this type of event. And then Nickel quite good as well. This one's tough. You think another team might be able to pull it off? Yeah, a big challenge here, I think, is not having a disaster in the first set. And if you have a weak sponsor, that's going to be very, very difficult. So I wouldn't say Raj is necessarily weak, but it does seem as if he and Gavin end up dropping tricks a number of times in the imp sense, when even when like they definitely don't have to, their defense could be a little bit better, and maybe as declarer as well. And that's going to be a huge problem at this form of scoring. It's not a big deal in imps because, like I said, these over tricks in some contracts, not a huge problem. If you misdefend and let a part score through when you could have beaten it, also not a big deal. And it might also be the case that the teammates, like the Australians, I don't think they're used to playing match points because they always enter things as a team. I mean, I know they did well in that World Bridge Tour pairs thing that happened, but that was like imp pairs, wasn't it? So maybe, yeah, I think that was imp pairs. So I don't think the Australians are necessarily like match point players. They kind of specialize at imps because that's where most of the bridge world kind of congregates for big events. PJ, thanks so much for the 7 months of Prime sub. Appreciate the support. Welcome back to the lounge. We got 0 minutes to go, and we are in. Let us stop by. Let's actually check out the boys. Rosenberg and Kaplan playing together, maybe for the first time, and Anant Rathi playing with Drew Hoskins. I think Drew ended up doing pretty well in some event recently. Was it the Blue Ribbons or something? I forget. But I think I saw his name on one of those Bridge Winners posts. But let's see how the guys do. And I think I will actually bring up the other table in this same match. So let's do that. So I forget, it was Kevin Rosenberg and Brian Platnick are sitting east-west in the other room. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Did I do it? I did. Here we go. So East opens a spade in both rooms. 1-0 by West with the 6-5 in the minors. Hold on, let me rearrange my screen a little bit, just so that I can see everything. At the one table, Rathi and Hoskins are currently playing a no trump. So a spade and no trump, pass, pass. And now Kaplan is thinking about balancing back in. No one vulnerable. You kind of do want to come back in, but it's not as if Kaplan has a straightforward way to do so. Basically, from a match points perspective, letting the opponents play one no trump, no one vulnerable is often not the right thing to do. But this could go the way of Team Rosenberg here, because if North leads a heart against one no, then, and I mean, maybe even if North doesn't lead a heart against one no, North-South are going to be able to cash out 5 hearts and the ace-king of spades to beat it a trick. Whereas 4 diamonds reached in the other room, diamonds split, clubs split, Declare has no trouble just losing a heart, a spade, and 1 club. So, cute auction by Rosenberg and Platnick, Kevin Rosenberg, at the other table to find their way into the highest scoring contract for East-West. Yeah, it actually a really interesting way of bidding the West hand. So a spade and no trump, 2 diamonds by East. I guess they're playing forcing no trumps. Otherwise, I mean, I would have had the same auction as they did in this room on the left side of the screen, because most 2/1 pairs play non-forcing 1 no. And so with a weak no trump, when you open a major and partner rebids a no trump, you're expected to pass. But playing the forcing no trump works out a lot better when responder has bid 1 no with 6-5 in the minors. That's for sure. So West, whoever that is, Platnick or Rosenberg, I think Platnick likes to sit West. I'm not sure. Decided to invite with 3 diamonds once they heard their partner had a diamond suit here, 2 diamond bid, and East retreated to 3 no, kind of along the lines of what we were saying about board match, that sometimes you want to over compete for games. East doesn't have a very good hand for no trump, but just kind of figures that if 3 diamonds is making, maybe 3 no is making. Yeah. And then West corrects to 4 diamonds, saying, no, I wasn't inviting based on like 10 high card points. I was inviting based on long diamonds. So East was then able to pass that. Schmeebel asks, why is one of the teams named Smiley Face? I don't know. That could be their team name. In the meantime, over in a no trump, North-South have gotten off to a heart lead, have cashed the first 5 heart tricks, and Kaplan will definitely pitch an encouraging spade here, the 4 spades. So now Rosenberg knows to switch to spades and cash out. Pretty big error here by Hoskins, pitching a spade. Now it's very clear to Rosenberg to play a spade, because Hoskins can't really have a 3-card spade suit to have bid a no trump. But either way at this point, even if North switches to diamonds or clubs and lets 1 no through, doesn't matter. Teammates were in 4 diamonds making 4, already won the board at their table. The system win for the forcing no trump. Oh, EPL, the other pair on this team, Ray Miller and Jeffrey Ford. Cool. So Rosenberg switches to spades, spade to the queen and ace, declares out. He might have just thought that that spade pitch was so bad that that like how could it possibly be the case that West has a spade void at this point? But there it is. 5 imps. Wait, 5 imps. Hello? Excuse me? Guys, we need to... Oh, no. We had a full day to prepare for this event, and this is the thing that you didn't correct? We're still playing imps? Okay, another great spectator experience, I'm sure. So on board 2, pass by East, 1 no trump in the South. Looks like 15 to 17 maybe, who knows? Oh, yeah, it is alerted. Passes back around to East. Now, is Kevin Rosenberg going to balance? I think he, yeah, and so he does immediately. I was going to say, I think he absolutely will. He's a passed hand, he is favorable, and while it's the case that the opponent's playing a no-trump vulnerable could be a huge win for your side if it goes down, it looks like he actually has an even better bonus here in that double is clubs in a major. Wow, very cute convention. And this is going to allow West to potentially pass if it is the case that 1 no trump was going down. Like if West had a 14 count over here, or depending on their system, I don't know if they play penalty doubles, but if West has like a serious powerhouse in terms of high cards, West will just pass this out and he gets the best of both worlds. 1 no trump going down doubled now, or his side can compete favorable for a part score. Schmeeble, maybe they patched it. They just gain their border match points in increments of 5. That would be a really weird change. All right, double, 2 diamonds. Tell me your major. 2 spades, I have spades. South comes in with a takeout double over 2 spades, which seems reasonable to me. I think it's also reasonable for South to pass it around to North. We'll see if that's the action that Kaplan chooses at his table. Same sort of thing happening, 1 no trump pass, and East balancing with 2 spades over there, spades and a minor. Now North bids 3 diamonds, and I think this is a pretty big board match mistake. But West with 4 spades does end up competing to 3 spades anyway. As they do in this room, Hoskins elects to just bid 3 spades directly over the double. Same sort of auction, same declare at both tables. And we'll probably see the same opening lead, maybe the ace of diamonds from Kaplan instead of the king. So how's this contract going to play? This does not look like a particularly challenging hand to defend. I think it's possible that South doesn't cash a second diamond. South might be worried, especially in this room, that, wow, I was going to say over here, despite the discouraging diamond signal on the right side of the screen, that South would definitely cash a second diamond after hearing partner's 3 diamond bid. But South switches to a club, and this actually gives Declare a chance to go up with the club king, which I think they might do. then cross in spades. They don't even have a spade finesse to take, and then take the heart hook to pitch a diamond loser. This is a really surprising play. I mean, this is the type of play that might work in a match point field, especially against much weaker competition. But I don't think this type of play is going to work in the Reisinger. Like, Kevin Rosenberg already smells something suspicious here. Like, South would never switch to a club if they had the queen. That would just be nonsensical. So either the aces in South or North has both of them. I think that's a 100% guarantee. I can't imagine him ever getting this club switch wrong. Now, I guess it's possible that South could have the ace and queen of clubs. That's a possibility. And so maybe he's worried about that. That even a weak South player would possibly switch to a club here. Kaplan switches to a club, but he had it a lot harder. His partner didn't bid diamonds in their room. I still just find it a little bit unbelievable that anyone would expect Declare to get this wrong. Now, at Kaplan's table, he doesn't know that Declare has a singleton heart. I mean, he might suspect it based on the auction, but it's not guaranteed. So both declarers have a big opportunity here. And they're both deep in the tank on the six of clubs switch. Tricky spot, for sure. Very tricky spot. I mean, the thing about this low club switch is if partner has queen doubleton of clubs like this, you never really get to unblock the club suit. If Declare goes up with the king, I mean, this is obviously better if East is 5-2-2-4. Like, it probably comes out the same, though. Like, you could just cash the other high diamond before switching to clubs. So Rothy goes up with the club king, is now going to play a spade to the ace and take a heart finesse, and he's going to be in pretty good shape. He'll just lose a spade and two clubs from here. And there's the heart hook. There goes a diamond. Rosenberg also going up with the club king. So we do see a push. Missed opportunity for both Souths on defense. I think especially in this room where you know that your partner has diamonds on the auction. Kaplan might have expected that East could have diamonds for the way the sequence went. Schiff says the club play before cashing a diamond is really odd. Well, if Declare has a bunch of small clubs in hand and the queen fourth the diamonds, then a club goes away from dummy if you cash a high diamond. Declare would just win, pull trumps, or cross in hand and trumps, and then pitch a club loser on the queen of diamonds. So Kaplan definitely had a lot less information than Ford did in this room over here, because Ford knew Declare had clubs, which makes the club play very strange at that table. But Kaplan thought Declare could have had diamonds for sure. Same three club preempt in both rooms on the South cards. Nothing for West to bid. So this will go three clubs around to East. Very tempting to balance with a double. Rosenberg does immediately. And West may well sit this. He does. Platnick sits. Ooh. Okay. So here's going to be another win for Team Rosenberg. And this shows a little bit of the brutalness of BAM in a sense. That there were basically two decisions, one of which wasn't even a real decision for Rothy and Hoskins, which, because of their system, they played a non-forcing no trump, or semi-forcing one no, opposite the one major bid, and that got them to a different contract than at the other table. They made the same choice on the second board, effectively, and even got a little bit of helpful defense from Kaplan to let three spades make on the previous hand. And now just one more different choice here, balancing double versus not balancing double with the short clubs. And that gives them, I mean, in match point equivalent, they got a 17% round. That's not good. Like, you're in serious trouble if you have a 17% round in a match point field. And in a match point field, they probably wouldn't have had such terrible results, right? A significant portion of the field is not going to play a forcing no trump, so they would duplicate one no down one on that first board. Some of the field would judge the East hand as not good enough to reopen double, and so they would probably get a 30% for not reopening here instead of 0, maybe a 25% or something. But it's all binary here. They're going to get 0 on this board. They got 0 on the first board. They only tied the first one. Looks like 300, right? Did I count this right? Declare has to lose 2 hearts, 2 diamonds, a spade, and a club. Maybe they'll lose the 10 of clubs as well. I suppose the defense can actually promote the 10 of clubs if they're careful. Let's see if they carefully defend. So over on the left side of the screen, after cashing the ace of spades at trick 1, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of that play. West now cashes the king of hearts. Also not a big fan of that play. But Platnick and Rosenberg, so Platnick leads a low heart, doesn't want to break any of his aces at trick 1, makes sense. Heart goes over to his partner's ace. Now the 8 of diamonds comes through. I bet this is some sort of count card from East. South should absolutely have played the 10 of diamonds there. By letting West play like a low card, it gives so much information to East. Heart back to the king. I think I hate that Queen of Hearts play. I mean, it does kind of build an entry with the Jack of Hearts. But Declare knows hearts are 3-3 from the auction. East doesn't have a doubleton heart for the takeout double, and West led low. So this isn't really an effective way to try and prevent a heart ruff. EPL says Declare can double dummy, avoid losing the extra club. Not true if the defense gets diamonds going. If the defense cashes the ace of spades and then plays 2 more rounds of diamonds here, the 10 of clubs gets promoted on the 4th round of diamonds, even if Declare uses the Jack of Hearts to lead a club to the king and duck a club. So as long as Platnick plays the Queen of Diamonds at some point, and he does it immediately, Declare is going to lose the 10 of clubs for 3 down. I mean, it's kind of irrelevant with the contract not being doubled here. on the left side of the room. It seems like East-West have established kind of a similar situation in the spade suit. I wasn't really following the play on the left side of the screen, but East can get in with the club ace and return a spade, promoting the 10 of clubs over here. If Declare had exited a low club, that is. Spade comes back, roughed and over roughed. They only beat it a trick, so regardless of what happened, they were just losing the board. And I mean, I think this just shows off a little bit the difference between a weak team and a strong team in these events. You can get massacred at board a match. Like, every little decision matters, and it wouldn't even have mattered at this point if Rothy had reopened double on his hand, which I think is kind of a standout bid at this form of scoring and probably any form of scoring. But if you don't take the maximum number of tricks on defense, it wouldn't matter. If you don't reopen double, it doesn't matter how many tricks you take on defense. You have to do everything right to get to even tie a board with a strong team and board a match, and finding ways to win boards is pretty challenging against this top level competition. So good start to the day for Rosenberg. They're four-handed. I think they've got to be one of the favorites going in. No sponsor on the team, so they can absolutely clean up during the first segment, the afternoon segment, when all the sponsors are going to be in, and then just continue playing really well in the evening set. But we might see some very lopsided scores as we continue weeding out some of the teams that did well to qualify, but might not really be caliber for the finals. Yeah, George Brad says one of the reasons they used Real Bridge was for the Reisinger, which is, I agree. I don't think we can have the Reisinger on BBO. So this is good. Hopefully it works. I mean, hopefully we don't have imps for the rest of the day. One of the problems that we had the last time, though, that they did a match point event on Real Bridge, and I would be curious to see if they fixed it, but I have the feeling that they did not, was that they just they carried over the north-south and east-west scores between the VuGraph tables. This has to be a solvable problem. And they also just had inaccurate scores. Schmeebel asks, why can't the Reisinger be on BBO? I mean, so they do insist on a delay, and BBO has had some issues with delay in the past. I don't think it's as big as they've made it out to be. But BBO has been very, very, very bad about switching tables in the middle of an event. Like, BBO has not done a good job for match point events because they have to continuously switch players, and they never update the nameplates on the players, so you have no idea who's playing against who. But also, just we tried the Reisinger 2 years ago on BBO without a delay, or maybe it was with a delay, I'm not sure, but it was unwatchable. I mean, you can probably see part of that commentary on my past broadcasts on YouTube, and you just there was no play. There was no play records, no bidding records. The operator would just have a 10-minute delay between boards and then just have to enter in the final contract with no bidding and then enter in the result. So we got to see no bridge being played for 4 hours, basically, which was useless. I think I probably stopped streaming at some point. I don't remember. But that was the experience of Reisinger on BBO in the past. So we can't have that happen. This is at least functional in terms of seeing the card play. I hope it continues that way. But they did do the platinum pairs on Real Bridge with operators earlier this year, and that was working. but the carryover and stuff was not. I mean, it would be nice if the VuGraph operators had access to the bridge mates. This shouldn't be a difficult problem to solve again, guys. Like, there has to be someone that understands how to like use Bluetooth to connect two technology things together and share information. It can't be that difficult to just get the actual updated scores so that we know how the teams are doing mid-set. But I suspect we won't see that. I suspect we will probably have this silly carryover with us all day. I suspect we're still going to have imps instead of match points, or imps instead of board a match. Could be better as an understatement. But at least we get to see card play. Okay, so we have options, right? We could follow this team all day, Team Rosenberg, because they're stationary, like it seems, or we could jump around to other matchups. I'm going to go ahead and put up a poll and see what people want to do. Okay, we'll stick around here for this set, and then we will all go with whatever the poll says. Get your votes in, both Twitch and YouTube. A club, a spade, 2-no, 3-no. I'm sorry, I've kind of missed the first couple of tricks. Let me go back to take a look. Fascinating. Wow. So Rosenberg led and played a couple rounds of spades, but then ended up switching to a low heart. And that was very costly. It ran around to Declare's 10. Yeah, now Declare just gets to take the diamond finesse. Diamonds don't split. In the meantime, what happened over here? Spade to the queen and ace from Platnik. Whoa. Oh, this actually looks decent for him. North will get strip squeezed, basically, to giving up the 10 of spades. Yeah, actually, very interesting. And North, in fact, pitched a heart already, so... Wow. Now, he has a little bit of thinking to do, but I think he might work this out. In the other room, Rosenberg kind of immediately gave up the trick by switching to a low heart early in the play. So 3-no made 4 over here. And we'll see if Platnik can replicate that. How many tricks has he got? He's got a spade. He's got 3 diamonds. He's got 3 clubs and 2 hearts is 9. And if he works out to pick off the strip squeeze, or whatever you want to call it, against North, then he will end up making a 10th and push the board. So we'll keep an eye on that as he works through the problem. Oh yeah, Faster Wyverns points out that Declara can actually just cross in clubs, pitch a... No, he has to play for the squeeze, right? You can only take the ace of diamonds when you're over here. He's not going to play North for the queen and jack of hearts, I don't think. He's going to instead play North for 4 hearts. Like, if we duck a heart out of hand, South might be able to win and play a spade through, so he can't do that. Oh, but he could just go ace, king, and a heart. But that's a little bit scary. South might have started with 3 hearts. I think his best bet is to club to the queen, ace of diamonds, pitch a heart, club to the ace, and then ace, king, and a heart. I think that's his best bet. But we'll see what he ends up going with. That guarantees 9 tricks. I mean, you basically just cash out. And if North did start with 4 hearts, then he'll make his 10 tricks. So I don't know if that's the line he's going to come up with, but that seems like the best line to me. At a quick glance, he's thought about it longer than I have. We have another 3-no contract. Strong no trump. Oh, weak no trump opener here from the English pair. Stamen, no major, 3-no. Oh! Platnick does not get it right. So big swing based on that decision. I wonder what he was playing for by ducking a spade. Did North lead a 4th best spade? Is that what happened here? I think North led a 4th best spade. Okay, because he very quickly played that spade from dummy. So North, the complete fish that he is, elected to lead 5th best instead of 4th best from King Jack 9-8, 5th. And that really caused a problem for Declara. Declara didn't know what was going on. Probably ended up placing North with 4x1 shape. Wow. Wow. Over in 3-0, left side of the screen. What was the opening lead? Looks like a club to dummy's jack. And then Declara took a spade finesse. South won the king. Don't know if Kaplan and Rosenberg are playing are playing Smith. But if so, it looks like they might be playing right side up Smith, with North discouraging on the club lead. Similar auction over here on the right side of the screen. We should see a similar club opening lead. I mean, we'll find out, right? If Hanley, Pritchard, and Townsend are playing 4th best or attitude leads, because South will lead the deuce if they're playing attitude leads. No, they lead the 3 clubs. So I'm I'm 100% certain that's what happened. Townsend decided, I mean, for one reason or another, to lead fifth best instead of fourth best in the spade suit. It could be because he didn't want to lead the 8 because it might look high to partner, and he didn't want his partner to get the wrong idea, or just he actually wanted to false card on opening lead. It's not that uncommon to lead fourth best, or to lead fifth best from against no trump, even if you're playing fourth, because it is a false card that sometimes gets declared to go wrong, and it did here. Earns his side half a board, basically, because otherwise Platnick may well have thrown him in hearts. Kaplan switches to hearts after thinking for a while on the king of spades, and then Declare continues the club queen. Kind of an interesting dynamic here. If South had ace 10 9 of clubs, South probably wouldn't have switched to hearts. They would have just gone ace of clubs 10 of clubs. So Declare knows that North's club card is probably falling, and therefore it's safe to set up clubs rather than, you know, use one of our major suit entries to work on the diamond suit. Spade over to the ace. Declare is definitely stripping their hand of entries a little bit. Okay, the vote was very close, and it looks like people want to bounce around to different tables. So we'll do that after this match. East ends up making 3-0. But that feels like they didn't do a very good job. Like, Declare could have led up towards the queen of diamonds. Maybe. I'm not sure if they had the entries, actually, to do everything, but it feels like Declare might not have taken full advantage of the play here. Let's see if Rosenberg can do a little bit better. He got a club lead. North dumped the 10 at trick 1, which allowed Rosenberg to immediately play back the club queen. He probably expects it's okay for his side if South wins and gives him 2 club tricks, but it would eventually set up the 5th round of clubs for South, who has multiple entries to get over there and cash it. I mean, how many tricks is Declare really entitled to on this board? Hearts are 3-3, so he has 4 hearts. He has at least 2 spades. He has 2 clubs and 2 diamonds with the ace on side if he can get it. Seems like 10 should be doable if Declare handles the play carefully. I mean, South doesn't need to decide immediately if they want to go about setting up clubs. South can always duck, and South doesn't really want to be on lead. And also, it tends to be a good idea to preserve aces. By the way, we're seeing a delay on the left side of the screen. So I think I'm certainly right that the only thing they changed was to up the delay from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. They didn't now give us like a bit of a different buffer so that they could continue on with the play at the table while the delay was taking place. Because this is happening in real time, and the rounds are going to be 27-minute rounds behind screens. Like, by the time that we start broadcasting, the players necessarily must have finished the boards. So all the boards have already been played in the tournament site. There's absolutely no reason to have a delay. Hanley Pritchard does duck the queen of clubs, and Rosenberg plays a spade to the jack. So South is in. And now South has the opportunity to go ace and club if he wants. It does give Declare an extra club trick, but I mean, for one thing, it forces some discards from dummy, and Declare has no idea which major suit is splitting, and Declare has no idea if the ace of diamonds is on side. So this looks like a pretty big win for Team Dyson. Declare may well still make his 9 tricks, but it's not a guarantee, and South is going to set up the defense's 4th trick for when he gets in with the diamond ace. We have another 3 no trump contract on board 6. 1 no, Stamen, 2 diamonds, 3 no. We've seen this auction before. This time, East-West are playing a strong no trump because they're vulnerable. 9 of hearts lead looks like Rusino to me, promising the 10 from Kaplan. And this time, the East-West hands do not fit very well together. Faster Wyvern's asking if they've pre-selected the boards to be 3 no-trump contracts. This round, it looks like they did. And I think I'll bring up something that maybe a lot of people who don't play in NABCs wouldn't know, which is that for major events, teams get seeded. So you've probably seen this with like the seeding points thing for like the Solway knockout, the spin gold, and that's how teams get chosen for like the 1, 2, 3, 4 seed, etc. But that's the case as well in the Reisinger or in pair games. Teams get seeded, and the top seeds go to odd numbered tables. Just a little bit of how the system works. But generally speaking, every other round, you'll be playing up against a seeded team. And so it looks to me like Team Dyson is the seeded team, and the previous team, Hoskins or whoever they were, was probably unseeded. That's just a guess based on the players that I see at the table. So you could kind of make an argument that like up against the seeded teams, you need to focus a little bit more, and up against the unseeded teams, you don't on some of these deals. It's definitely been the case here. Seems like Declare Rosenberg guessed very well about what to discard on 2 rounds of clubs. Leads a diamond up towards dummy. Now a club gets cashed. And he does have the rest of the tricks, but 3 no making 3 for a push board. Declare does misguess the hearts. Faster Wyvern says, could guess the hearts if you trust the lead. No. 9 of hearts is from the 10, could have a higher honor. I mean, it denies the jack, but it's just Rusino. So it's the same as if South had led the 10 in standard. South could have had King 10-9 for the lead. But he could have delayed his guess. He could have gone up with the ace of hearts and waited, up with the ace of hearts, spade to the jack, but it's, you know, you may as well take your finesse at trick 1. So South is in, plays back the 8 of hearts. Looks like kind of a suit preference, you know, I don't care which suit you play part. South really doesn't want to insist on clubs here, because then Declare might avoid taking a club finesse. If Declare started with ace, king, jack of clubs, now after this 8 of hearts play, Declare might take a club finesse, and South will get in and cash a few hearts. Whoa, spade to the ace. Oh my. Now the jack of spades back. Rosenberg thinking on this trick. He already pitched a spade, so he's already blown a trick in the spade suit, it looks like. Hanley Pritchard also leading the 10 of hearts. Yeah, Rosenberg plays a club back. Spade to the queen, cash the 7 of spades. And eventually North is going to get a diamond at the end of the deal, so 3-0 goes down 1. But it was not a very friendly hand. We'll see if Kevin Rosenberg can do a little bit better. 10 of hearts lead. I mean, the fact that North threw a spade might even be good news for Team Dyson here. Because if North elects to, say, pitch a club instead on the 3rd round of hearts, which I think we'll see a relatively similar line of play at both tables. Jack of hearts is going to hold. Then North is going to switch to a club. I'm going to get some more water after this board. And we'll have a bit of a break. And then we'll have to find a new table to watch. So there's the club. South playing the 7. It almost looks to me like North-South are playing playing standard carding based on some of their plays. It's now time for Declare to go after diamonds. And Declare in the other room elected to lead the queen of diamonds at this point. Yeah, Rosenberg leads a low diamond. So diamond goes to the king. He'll take a spade finesse now, probably. Maybe not. Maybe he does want to knock out South's ace of diamonds. Okay, he does play a diamond back to the queen and ace. South here continues the 6 of hearts. So I like Kaplan's play a lot better. Like, North is always getting in and playing a club, right? So if North ever gets in, North is going to just play a club through. You don't really need to signal to partner that you have clubs in this position. Although, maybe the counterpoint to that is that because Kaplan didn't signal for clubs, Rosenberg was a little bit more worried about discarding from that suit. So we'll see. And Townsend also pitches a spade. But it feels like the defense is in a better spot here, right? I don't know exactly how things went down in the other room. I would need to step back a couple of tricks. Let me do that briefly. With the king of diamonds as an entry, Declare was always going to have access to that fourth round of spades. Because now when Rosenberg takes the spade finesse, that's great. He could play ace and a spade to set up a spade, trick, and dummy, but he's still going to lose a diamond and a club from here. Yeah, he ends up cashing the jack of diamonds to get some info, but South throws a club. And he's going to wind up down 2. So we were saying that Rosenberg was off to a good start. They ended up picking up 2.5 in their first set, but now they're only going to score a half. Border match is really tough. There's nothing for Declare to really do in this end position. I mean, he's probably just going to cash the club king. Yeah, hoping that North doesn't unblock the queen if they have it, and now exit a diamond, maybe. Stick North in. Actually, a diamond exit would be terrible, right? South would pitch a spade, and then South takes the rest of the tricks. EPL says Hanley Pritchard is a great Barbu player. It's a pretty popular game among bridge players. All right. And North-South have the rest. 3-0 down 2. So we'll leave them to it. Rosenberg is off to a 50% start. They've picked up 3 in the over 2 matches. And the nice thing about the Reisinger as well, which I would also say, is that it's a full round robin in terms of match points. So, you don't have the same problem that you do in other match point fields where sometimes you miss out on playing a weak team and you just get handicapped in that way. Here you do get to play all teams over the course of the day in the semifinals and finals. The finals is a double round robin. Let's check in on Fleischer. Or whoever ends up coming to this table next. I don't know if Fleischer is also stationary. I'm not entirely sure. But wow, whatever happened here, I don't know what took place. Both tables made 3-0. I would like to step back and see the play at least one of these tables. Let's take a look. 10 of hearts lead. Declare ducks. Trick 1. Wow. Big play from Rothy. Club comes through. Declare leads the diamond queen. South wins. And South plays back a club, but returns the 7 of clubs because figuring that Basis would not have squandered the jack earlier unless he had another spot card. So Lorenzini, trying to unblock the club suit, ends up costing a trick. Now Declare plays a diamond to the king, takes a winning spade finesse, cashes the jack of diamonds. Cashes the ace of clubs. Okay, we're into the next board. And we do see the same... Hello? Excuse me. Excuse me. What was that all about? But we're into the next board. So once Team Dyson passes this table, it looks like it's set up in some sort of, match point type movement. We just saw Rothy and Ford and those guys and Hoskins pass through. We'll be getting new teams east-west. So we'll sit here for a minute, probably watch 2 sets at Team Fleischer, then we'll go to Zimmerman's table, watch 2 sets over there. It does seem like Fleischer, Zimmerman, and Rosenberg are all stationary, which is pretty unusual. I was hoping we would be able to jump around between and see basically all the teams. Ooh, okay. So different opinions on this board immediately. Both Souths rebid 2 hearts, and at the 1 table, Townsend overreaches a little bit, getting to the spade game. At Basis's table, I'm sure that 2 spades is an invitational, is what they're playing. I mean, this is a relatively popular treatment. It works pretty well if a heart past 2 spades is preemptive, because now North can't have a preemptive hand. And by preemptive, I mean like up to 9 or so, or up to 8, not like 0 to 5 sort of preempt. So 2 spades should be an invite, which is what North wanted to do. Looks like they have a heart loser, 2 diamonds to lose, a club, and a spade. I mean, 4 spades is definitely going down on the right side of the screen. Oh, and in the meantime, over at this table, Declare led hearts up and the defense didn't cash out diamonds. Wow. So now Declare gets to pitch 2 losers from the North hand. Declare is going to make 4. The play didn't matter. The hand was kind of over in the auction. But good result for Team Fleischer. I will also note that Fleischer's sitting out for the first set. Normally, sponsors will want to play the first segment, but I know Fleischer is a late riser, and so maybe he just prefers to play the evening. He's one of the very few sponsors that I think can probably get away with it. A very strong player himself. Declare roughs a diamond back to hand, starts pulling trumps. Ace of spades, jack of spades seems a pretty likely plan. No, just goes ace of spades, queen of spades. I mean, I guess Basis already knew that he had won the board. He didn't need to try a little bit harder. Ace of spades, jack of spades. If there was a trump promotion coming, the defense was going to find it. On to board 8. We still have the carryover from how these teams have been doing. I mean, specifically North-South, the Fleischer team, and it has definitely scored in imps. So we have no idea how anyone's doing. Passed by West at both tables, a diamond opener. Michaels by East. South preempts 3 diamonds. West jumps to 4 hearts. And East has a big hand over here. Singleton diamond, though, I think East is just going to have to let 4 hearts go. I mean, at this table, North might bid 5 diamonds, and Basis does. Wow, so 5 diamonds, 5 hearts by East. These are tricky decisions, right? We talked about this earlier. Like at imps, automatic 5 heart bid from East. You're probably making it. But at match points or board a match, this could cost the full board. If the other table ends up doubling 5 diamonds, then they win the board. There are 3 losers in each contract, it seems, with that Queen of Spades offside. We do get the same start to the auction in both rooms. And I'd expect Townsend to also make some sort of sacrifice. The question is just, is he going to show his club suit along the way or just bid 5 diamonds? I like just bidding 5 diamonds. No need to tell the opponents what your hand looks like. Diamond opening lead against 5 hearts. Immediate club switch from Basis. I mean, he's looking at that spade suit and realizes that he needs to get his club tricks in pretty quickly. So declares put to a club guess. Is it going to be down 1 or down 2? It could be very important, down 1 or down 2. If they duplicate 5 hearts in the other room, then this second under trick could matter. I think there's a good chance Declare goes wrong on the low club switch, given the opening bid from North. Whoa! Townsend just sells out to 4 hearts. Could have been the right choice. But with such limited defense and such good offense on the North hand, I do like Basis's choice a little bit better in this room. I mean, everything still matters. If Dyson gets the club guess correct here and ducks, and at the other table, if Versace misguesses the clubs, we're back to a push board. So Dyson does misguess the clubs, and that means that this will be a victory for Fleischer. So another victory for Fleischer then. They're up 2-0 over Dyson. Yeah, South plays the 3 of diamonds, suit preference at trick 1. And there's the club switch from Townsend. How is Versace going to do in the club suit? You know, another thing I'll say about the Reisinger format is because the movement is sort of like match points. You don't get to think for 34 minutes on a hand like you would at imps. Because at imps, you just get to balance out your thought time over the course of a 16 or 15 board segment. Whereas for these rounds, you got to be relatively quick on every board. And Versace gets the club guess right. Look at that. Maybe based on South's 3 of diamonds play. Incredible. So 5 hearts goes down 2 at one table. 4 hearts makes at the other table. And Fleischer's going to pick up a ton of imps. It's no longer going to be 14-13 anymore. Basis opens 3 hearts. What a Chad over there. Jack 7th and out. First seat favorable. East makes a takeout double. I mean, you kind of have to. South bumps to 4 hearts. 4 spades by West is going to get cracked by South. Are we going to see West run to 5 clubs? Are we going to see West sit it out and 4 spades doubled? I mean, 5 clubs is just down 1. 2 rounds of spades. Oh, no, it's down 2. There's 2 rounds of spades, a heart, and a spade rough. And in 4 spades... I suppose it depends on how the defense goes. I mean, 4 spades might make. 4 spades could go down a ton of tricks. Same 3-heart opener from Townsend. Will we see the same takeout double from Samantha? Samantha tends to be a little bit more conservative in the bidding than a lot of players at this level. Lorenzini doesn't smash 4 spades. How? That's unbelievable to me. Wow. Oh boy. So that's a big decision. He knows his partner's preamps? Sure. But I would still expect that sometimes we can just play on a forcing defense with our 4 trumps. Partner's very likely to lead hearts. Or in this case, partner's just getting a club rough. 10 of spades. Lorenzini ducks, so this is very smart by Lorenzini. He knows his partner's getting a club rough, but he doesn't care because this is actually the best way for him to defend. If Declare mistakenly plays another spade right now, look at what Double Dummy says. Well, okay, Double Dummy says it's always bad, but if Declare plays another spade, Lorenzini gets to pull 2 rounds of trumps and then go ace of hearts, queen of hearts, heart, heart. He's going to be in control of the hand, and his side's going to take quite a few heart tricks. At the other table, though, I did say this is possible. Cemento, a little bit more conservative, passes over 3 hearts. He doesn't like the fact that he only has 3 spades. So 4 hearts is where the contract's landed. And it looks like this contract is coming home, right? Declare just has to rough this with the queen of hearts. Well, I guess they don't, but the way the last trick went, yeah, so they do rough with the queen of hearts. I mean, Declare was never taking a heart finesse anyway with an 11-card trump fid. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense. King of hearts falls. 4 hearts, cold. In fact, Declare probably should have run all of their hearts. Like, this is board a match. You do want to play for that over trick. Force the opponents to make some discards. Maybe they get it wrong. Maybe there is a legitimate squeeze if West has 5 spades and the ace, king, queen, jack of clubs. Pretty unlikely, but possible. Yeah, so Declare ended up reverting after playing 1 round of spades. Lorenzini now roughs in on the king of diamonds. He didn't have to do that, right? Lorenzini could have pitched clubs here. His partner would be able to rough the next diamond. Dyson needs to think about what to do.
Thanks for the coverage of Soloway and this event. Always appreciate your commentary.
George Brad, oh my, holy cow, $200 donation. Well, I'm glad that you have been appreciating the event commentary. Thanks so much for the donation. Always appreciated. That does make me happy to know that people are enjoying the event more so than just tuning in and being lurkers. And I do try and get as many events covered as I can. Glad to bring bridge joy to the world. That's what we do here on the channel, for sure. So I appreciate it. I know that you're one of the longtime supporters of the channel. Thank you so much. I don't think this 4-spade contract matters at this point, how many tricks Declare ends up taking. It looks like he's going to get at least 6. But he's in danger if he roughs. He definitely shouldn't rough this trick. If he over-roughs and then, say, plays a club, North gets in by roughing, then plays a heart to his partner's hand, then South pulls all the trumps and then runs the heart suit. And then Declare ends up down 6, which would do worse than 4 hearts making, even though it wasn't doubled. But assuming Declare pitches the 10 of hearts on this trick, they should be okay, I think. Let's just think this through. So Declare throws the 10 of hearts. South can then give partner club rough, and then a heart comes back. Then Declare can rough, and then just start playing trumps. And so South gets this trick, which is 1. A club rough is 2. And the ace king of spades, which is 4 total tricks. That's not so bad. That's down 1, right? Aren't we pretty happy if we go down 1? Unless I miscounted something, the defense scores 4 trump tricks and that's it. It feels like the defense probably could have done better at some point along the way. I mean, I think that would have involved Lorenzini pitching clubs, not roughing this trick. So yeah, Declare pitches a heart. And now what does Lorenzini do? He forces Declare, but Declare roughs and then plays the king of clubs. North gets to rough, force Declare. But Dummy's diamonds are set up, Declare's clubs are set up. Declare's just going to play winners whenever they get in. Wait, what happened? Declare pitched on a heart to the ace? Guys, look. I don't understand. That's insane. I mean, that's a mistake that means you've been playing at a national tournament for 8 days straight at this point. That's also another bit of the difficulty with the Reisinger. This is the very final event of the NABC. And all these players have been playing in the Solway. They've been playing in all of these other national events throughout the week. They're tired. Stamina is really important. at this point in the tournament. Okay, now I'm going to get some water. We'll stick with this table for another set and then jump over to Zimmerman. I don't know, I'm like speechless about this whole pitching on the Ace of Hearts thing. That's wild. But I'm still a bit shocked that Lorenzini didn't go after four spades. Sometimes it makes. He doesn't have a ton of defense. And yeah, his partner had a pretty bad hand, but I'm sure Bassis could have had more. It's a tricky spot. I'll grant him that. I almost want to, yeah, actually, let's look at this hand at other tables, because so Marcinovsky did double four spades. They only beat it a trick. That's crazy. So look at this. The decision to sit out four spades by Simon Cope ended up winning the board because North-South didn't find the best defense. Whereas at the other table, five clubs doubled. And yeah, here, like, this is an auction that I thought was going to be somewhat likely. So it does look like many of the players are doubling four spades in that situation. It's just Lorenzini who elected not to. And more importantly, I mean, Cementa's conservatism shows through, that he's the only player, at least at the tables we've seen, that did not make a takeout double of three hearts. Could have been the winning action, right? Five clubs doubled does go down two. Four spades doubled should be, I think, slated to go down more. I'm not sure what Double Dummy is going to say. I'm just going to check the what it says. It says down two, always. Which is a bit surprising to me, that the defense can't do better by repeatedly forcing declare in hearts. Hey, Super Koopa. Good evening. Yeah, Real Bridge. While we do get to see card play and auctions, that's great. No, they are incapable of putting on a board a match event. And I'm certain that they've known about this for months ahead of time, so this should not be a difficult thing for them to figure out. Like, I don't know why I'm constantly surprised at this point, but I feel as if a lot of these companies are just like incapable of doing anything sensible when it comes to technology. Why is that the case? I'm not sure. I mean, Real Bridge is run by two people or something like that, and they aren't like programmers, or like this isn't their full-time job. Fine. BBO, it is their full-time job. They should be able to do better than whatever it is that they have. I mean, obviously the Soloway would have been better on BBO, but they should be able to build a board a match event. They should be able to implement delay if that's what the ACBL wants. I mean, I can't make the argument that I would do better. I am a programmer and maybe I could figure it out, but I haven't like built a system myself to communicate over networks and stuff like that. I've just done some back-end development. Doesn't sound hard to switch from imps to BAM. It can't be. I mean, this is not a difficult problem to solve. But it's more just that, like, they had so much time to prepare and did not. That's the thing that's really concerning to me about this whole experience. I mean, Craig knows the people who run the RealBridge site. I don't know them at all. I've had a limited amount of interaction with them when I was talking about getting on the RealBridge bidding panel. But I basically don't communicate with them in any way, so I have no idea what their circumstances are. I think they need to do better. And I don't feel like I'm having unreasonably high standards in this case. Like, I am a perfectionist, and so generally I have unreasonably high standards for a lot of things, but this is not one of them. We can just not have imps scoring when we're playing board a match. That would be a simple fix. I have to believe that the site can do that. I have to believe that the site doesn't need to have delays for a 30-minute delay that's already happened when the round timer is 27 minutes. Like, I have to believe that there's a way for the play to be continuous on the broadcast when they have a 27-minute round and a 30-minute enforced delay. These don't seem like difficult problems to solve, in my humble opinion. You know Andy and Shireen, Super Koopa? Haven't seen them playing bridge for ages. I mean, it sounds like they don't play a lot of bridge. It seems like they know about bridge. I think I've seen at least Andy posting on Bridge Winners, and Andy's comments have been pretty insightful, generally. Faster Wyvern says maybe they delayed the delay. No, I mean, like, breaks in between rounds I get that. Because it's basically like a match point movement. And so they have to give players time to shuffle between tables. Sometimes there are going to be breaks added in. I don't know if after 3 rounds they have a break or something, but so this I understand. But like earlier, we saw a board like get finished at one table, and then they just waited until until the other table was done, which is crazy. Like, I'm certain what happened. Like, I know is a strong word, but I'm certain I know what the bug is from a programming perspective. I guarantee you that, like, they didn't make an update to the way the delay is handled after adding in the 30-minute delay. They just went into the code, and Jan was like, hey, we need to try a 30-minute delay so that we don't have all of these broadcasting issues. And they're like, oh, no problem. And they like deleted the thing that says 15 in the code and wrote in 30. And then they didn't like adjust all of the other, like update everything else to make sense for the 30-minute delay. Yeah, Tom over on YouTube says it's a chicken and egg issue. We need a bigger audience for people to be interested in investing and fixing the issues. That's always been the problem with Bridge, that it's just not a popular enough game that there are people who are interested in investing in building the infrastructure to promote the game in a way. I mean, it sounds like this HCL stuff in India is doing a decent job of that. So I'd be curious to follow what happens with those events going forward, because they're offering prize money. There's a serious backing in terms of financials for it. Get 3 spades at both tables. Looks like that's probably going to pass out at both rooms. Boris, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Oh, wow. 6 months sub. Welcome to the lounge. Appreciate the support. Both tables leading a 3rd, 5th, 7th odd card lead, 2 of hearts. Around to North's ace. And Palma returns the jack of hearts at trick 2. Oh, actually, South cashed the ace of clubs at trick 1 against the 3-spade preempt. Lorenzini just leads a heart immediately. So this looks like a bit of an error from Palma. I mean, maybe. Actually, I'm not sure. It's hard to say, but South made the defense a lot more difficult on his partner. Oh, wait. I'm so crazy. It doesn't matter, does it? Declare can ruff a club, but North better start pitching diamonds. Club ruff, diamond over to the jack, club ruff to shorten Declare's trumps to the same length as North, but North will be able to throw another diamond on that trick. So no trump coup will happen. Faster Wyvern said Poon could have tried a risky duck. Didn't Poon just lead the ace of clubs at trick 1? Or did I miss something? Poon led a doubleton diamond. That's what went wrong here. Now I understand. Now I get it. Okay. Now I get it. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Let me focus in on what's happening at the other table. So after 2 rounds of hearts, Declare ruffed and worked on pulling trumps. Crossed in hand, crossed to a diamond in hand, finds out about the bad trump split. Pulls another round of spades, and now Declares just going to pitch a club on 4 rounds of diamonds. So at this table, wait, we have the wrong names, wrong name tags. We have the BBO issue. Name tags are not being updated. But this is Team Goldberg sitting east-west in this room. I'm also surprised that Goldberg is not playing right now. If Poon and Palma are playing together, that means Connie will have to be playing in the evening. Yeah, very good technique here by East. Plays the 4th round of trumps. Now the king of clubs is protected, and Declare can just run the diamonds safely. 3 spades making 3 at both or 3 spades making 4 at both tables for a push board. On to board 11. Poon opening a club in the south, 14 count. Takeout double from west. Too good to overcall a diamond, Versace says. East bids a heart. West rebidding a no trump to show his hand that was too strong for a no trump overcall. Board a match, right? At teams, maybe you would rebid 2 diamonds with the West hand. Maybe. But at board a match, you just gotta play the hand in no trump. East should definitely raise of some nature. So I don't know. Okay, we do have the updated usernames. So we have Pearl Cullen here, West, Marion Mickelson sitting east. Samantha just bids 3 now. Quite reasonable. remember, board match scoring, not match points. You want to be aggressive at bidding some games. Whereas Mickelson goes very low, 2 hearts. I think this is ultra conservative. Is it going to work out for her? It looks like it very well might, because 3 no trump is likely to go down, especially on this club lead. North-south, even with everything splitting, is going to set up 3 clubs. They'll end up taking a diamond, and they'll get the ace of hearts. Pretty tricky to make 2-0, but you probably can do it. Either way, with all of the quick tricks here, aces and kings, and heart splitting in a pretty nice fashion, Declare is going to do very well in the 2-heart contract. I would say I like Samantha's decision more than Mickelson's. Both at the form of scoring, but also just because this takeout double followed by a no trump should be quite a good hand. And Versace has that, as well as Kulin. They both have a very good hand, nice 5-card suit that they expect has decent chances to run. Lots of quick tricks. It's just the East hand did not fit very well. And I mean, maybe more to the point, West's hand is kind of minimum for this sequence, starting with the takeout double and bidding a no trump. It's a good 17, but normally a no trump overcall is 15 to 18, right? So this should show like 19 to 21 or thereabouts, or like good 19 to 21. Wait, PJ, you asked about pass, but I don't remember how long ago this comment was. Seems like Declare is going to go down multiple in 3-0, especially if North gets in with that 4th round of clubs and pushes a heart through. But let's see how Mickelson handles 2 hearts over here. Diamond opening lead, up with the ace of diamonds. Elects to just cash the king of diamonds. Now is she going to take a high spade? No, roughs a diamond immediately. So she's playing on kind of, let's score some roughs with my long trumps plan. Leads a club to the king. Gonna duck a club. Try and get that club rough in. She could try and cash 3 spades first. If you're playing along the lines of this sort of cross-ruffy type thing, you would want to cash all of your outside winners before touching the other suits, but no, she does play back a club. Basis may well go up with the jack. I think it's pretty likely. Make sure that he gets in for his side and he can push a heart through. But no, he Lets his partner in. In the meantime, in a no trump, in 3 now, Versace has taken the first 7 tricks. That may well be the end of his tricks, though. North pitching the Jack of Diamonds is going to be good defense now, no matter how South handles the play. South will be able to put North in with the second round of clubs and get a heart through. So 3-0 down 2. And back over in 2 hearts. The defense has successfully, it seems, scored a 3rd club. But Mickelson is going to win the board for her side with the conservative 2-heart bid. We're on to board 12. I wish I had better information about how the results were shaping up in the middle of the round. Colleen opens a weak no trump. 12 count over there. I have no idea what their range is. 2 hearts transfer to spades. Oh man, oh yeah, Versace. So they play 10 to 13 over here. East transfers to spades and passes the hand out. And we may well see the same auction at the other table. It looks like we do. Jack 10 doubleton, a pretty standout lead. And Declare does seem to have plenty of entries to the west hand to take some club finesses if that's necessary. The diamond suit is going to set up, though, on this lead. Declare pretty likely, so Versace does go up with the ace of diamonds. I think Colleen will also go up with the ace of diamonds. Returns the suit. South wins the king. Versace pitches the 9. I'm not sure I love that play. North could have had Singleton Jack, and then maybe that 9-8 of diamonds would be nice. Heart switch comes. Pretty understandable from South. Looking at the 3 small hearts, try and set up our tricks before they go away on the diamonds. Declare doesn't really have a way to get rid of the hearts from dummy, so he'll stick in the jack here, just cut communication. Wow, at the other table, Colleen elects to duck the diamond lead. Surprising, diamonds could be 5-1. Not terribly likely with neither opponent bidding. But same small heart switch goes to the jack and king. Versace actually elects to win the ace of hearts. Leads the diamond queen, so North gets to ruff. Not sure why you'd ruff with the 7 instead of the 3. Ruffed and over-ruffed. But Declare is not in a position to get his heart ruff in. This is why I think sticking in the Jack of Hearts might have been a bit more effective earlier. Heart goes to the Jack and King. So what is Palma going to do? Heart exits safe, knows that Declare's roughing, but it's a bit of a strain to try and prevent that ruff. I mean, if North switches to spades, it probably just picks off South's spade holding. That's what North would be worried about. I think we will see a heart come back. Oh, North does play a spade. Yeah, now South is in a bind. Because South knows if they just pull trumps, Declare is going to run the diamond suit, which is not what South wants. So I think South has to win this and continue the Heart Queen. And that'll allow Declare to ruff, play the 8 of spades again, or 8 of diamonds if he chooses to do so. North will be out of trumps. Yeah, now Declare knows that North is out of trumps, and so can safely cash the 8 of diamonds to pitch a loser if South forces him now. Queen of Hearts, ruff, 8 of diamonds, pitch a club, no longer needs to guess the club suit. This will be 2 spades making 2. So let's hop back over to Basis's long tank after a heart goes to the Jack and King. Trick 2. He does at some point need to find a way to either force West and hearts or strip all the spades before the diamonds get unblocked. Because Basis can kind of see that this this diamond situation is problematic with his 10 of diamonds falling. He doesn't know about Declare's good diamonds, but he does know about the queen. So heart comes back to the ace. Good duck by Lorenzini, but kind of marked. Partner would have led the ace king of hearts if they had it, so Declare must have that card. Declare definitely needs to unblock the diamond ace now. Diamond goes to the ace. If he just went about pulling trumps, the defense could play 3 rounds of spades, and then he would be completely cooked. Stuck leading from dummy the rest of the hand. Now you could play a round of spades if Declare wants, especially noting that drop of the 10 of diamonds. At this point, if the defense plays 3 rounds of spades, good for them. Declare wins and claims the rest, pitching all of dummy's losers on the queen 9-8 of diamonds. So 10 of spades. Lorenzini, not prepared for this trick, would have decided whether to hop up with the king or duck based on thinking through the play earlier. But now he ducks. Heart gets ruffed. This is a tricky spot. So if North roughs this trick, I mean, I guess South is getting end played, oddly enough, because South has no hard exits. But if North roughs this trick, Declare is kind of trapped. You get to overruff, and North does ruff. Good play by Basis. You get to overruff, you'll exit a spade, and then South is getting end played into leading clubs. Could be a little bit dangerous if South had another heart, though. Not sure what Declare is thinking about. Maybe Declare is cursing himself for not realizing that this could have been a problem. But it does seem like he's going to also make two spades right on the nose for a push. So what did we learn from the Fleischer table? We learned Fleischer's doing a little bit better than average. I think they scored 2 in the previous set. Yeah, 2 spades is making 2. Same as in the other room. I mean, I expect. Yeah, Declare does exit a trump. South is in. And South kind of realizes at this point, I mean, knows that they can't play back a diamond, so will likely just cash the ace of spades and pitch and play club through. Yeah, EPL says on this layout you could discard on the 8 of diamonds getting roughed because North would be end played, but why do that when you could just do this? Just as likely that someone else is getting end played, and sometimes the spades just split. Like, someone could get end played for all of the tricks from here, right? If South had the king of clubs, then South is end played for all of the tricks. So Declare will put up the club queen. Oh, okay. Never mind. They play the 9. Fair enough. But North sticks in the jack. 2 spades making 2 for the push at both tables. Let's check in on Team Zimmerman because this is where we're headed next. Oh, they're up against our Solway winners in Team Shori. 2 spades making in one room. Lots of action at the other table between Whibley and Edgerton. No surprise there. And look at that. 2 spades goes down 1. Let's step back through the play. So they win the board. Heart opening lead to the jack and king. Heart came back, ducked around. Yeah, because spades got played from the other side, there was no, like, jack of diamonds lead picking up the entire diamond suit for Declare. Man, doubleton leads are bad, even when you have jack 10 doubleton. So Declare leads a diamond to the ace, roughs the heart, and then just tries to pull trumps. But now Edgerton can cash the ace of spades, cash the king of diamonds, and exit a spade. Whibley holding on to these hearts so that he has safe exit cards in case Declare leads a low club to the queen or something. Declare's stuck in dummy. Whoever's playing this, Kalita, over at this table, no way to guess the clubs anymore. I mean, the normal thing that you would want to do in this club suit is to take 2 finesses through north, because that gives you the best percentage chance to make it. But you can also take 1 finesse through south and 1 finesse through north. Like lead the 7 of clubs to the queen. If it loses, then play a club to the 10 later. Instead, Kalita got himself stuck in the east hand, can only take 1 club finesse, significantly reducing his a priori chances of making it, and ends up being very costly. Plays 1 more spade to just get a bit more information from the defenders, then leads a club to the... Very cute. Leads a club and ducks, hoping that North forgets to overtake. I guess this actually makes the contract if South had the jack of clubs. So, pretty good club read read in general by Kalita, but Whibley ends up... Whibley ends up overtaking because he can see a guaranteed set, plays the heart back. Declare has to ruff, and is then played to lead away from the ace of clubs. Good defense. Ends up winning the board. So I guess the Pacific Islanders, the Australia-New Zealander contingent, actually can play board a match. They aren't just imp specialists. I have no idea what Kalita was doing on that hand, though. It seemed very strange to lead a spade in the position he ended up in. Hey, G2R2. How long am I streaming for today? Until the end of the set. And then I will be done. So that would be like 5 p.m. Eastern time, or 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, because we started with an extra delay. Oh, PJ says that Hans was actually close to winning this event last year. Wow. Don't remember that, but it wouldn't surprise me. 3 diamond preempt from both North players. So we've moved on to, looks like we have a bit of a different team. I guess the Zimmerman team is a bit separated from the other 2 tables we had been watching. We got Zagorin up against Zimmerman. 3 diamonds, 4 clubs by East. A lot of players play 4 clubs as clubs in a major here. So I don't know how popular this 4 club overcall will be, just natural. Double by South. Pass from Klukowski. I wonder what Klukowski would have done if South hadn't doubled. Because it seems very tempting to try and go looking for a better fit with the West cards, but I don't know how to sensibly go about it. Maybe 4 diamonds is the way to do it. See if partner can bid a 4-card major or something. Or see if partner bids 4 hearts and you can drop him. Not familiar with the South player. Actually, not familiar with any of the Zagorin team. I also think that this name is misspelled, right? I'm not sure. But at one table, 3 diamonds passes out, probably because East didn't have a way to naturally overcall 4 clubs. And Kalita sits, 4 clubs doubled. How is he going to do in this contract? He only has 3 losers on the surface, but a lot of work to do. He's got to knock out the king of spades. He's got to ruff at least one diamond, pitch on the ace of hearts. He's got to be able to pull trumps with South having 4 of them. Lots of work to do. At the other table, 3 diamonds passes out. And so this table's result is completely irrelevant to the final score of the hand. It only matters if 4 clubs doubled makes. So diamond goes to the queen and ace. Kalita must expect that the king of spades is offside and that clubs are at least 4-1 for this double. Maybe not. Maybe South could do this on ace queen third. So a line of play such as diamond ruff, ace of hearts pitch a diamond, I don't know, take the spade finesse or whatever, like South gets in. North-South are just going to start forcing Declare and hearts. And Declare might have trouble because they're going to run out of trumps very quickly. Hey, Therese, good morning. Super Koopa, you would rather overcall 4 clubs if it was clubs in a major? No, it has to be 5-5. Has to be 5-5. Especially at board a match, right? Or match points, your partner's always going to put you in a 5-2 major suit fed, and so they're going to be pleasantly surprised to find out that you only have 6 trumps and that and that they're in the business of looking for a new partner. Kalita does ruff a diamond, and I guess now has to cash the ace of hearts. Whoa. Jack of clubs. Aha. Okay, actually this is very smart, and this is taking advantage of all the information we had. If South is pretty likely to have the spade king, and clubs could be 4-1 or possibly 5-0. Now we don't squander the ace of hearts, so we're not in as much danger of getting forced. If you cash the ace of hearts to pitch the diamond early, then South would be able to start playing hearts and forcing Declare, and maybe South's long trump sets up. But instead, by playing the jack of clubs immediately, I don't know why he's thinking about overtaking. That's insane. But if South wins this, South is out of diamonds. They don't get to cash their diamond trick. And either South will play clubs, hearts, or spades, and either way, we get access to the ace of hearts eventually. If South goes queen of clubs, ace of clubs, club, we just lead a low spade towards the jack. South has the king, so North never gets in to take their diamond winner before it goes on the ace of hearts. Good play by Kalita. Super Koopa says, would I consider reopening on the west hand over 3 diamonds pass? Sure, yeah. I would absolutely sit and think for like 30 seconds or so. Because in balancing seat, these decisions are very important at both match points and imps. You don't want to make balancing decisions lightly not at imps, at match points and board a match. So I would probably construct a couple of hands for partner. You know, I would give them like a flat 13 most of the time and just see like small doubleton heart or honor doubleton of hearts. What am I likely to make in 3 hearts? And if the answer is 9 tricks, then yeah, I would balance 3 hearts. which would not work out well on this lie of the cards. That would go very poorly. Doc says South didn't win the jack of clubs. Now what do we do? I think spade to the queen, right? So we force out the king of spades. Okay, or spade to the ace. Seems fine. And now Declare is going to go about trying to pull trumps. So is Declare getting forced themselves? They lead the king of clubs. South wins. Plays back a heart. Up with the ace, pitch a diamond. Exit a spade to set up the suit. Gets forced in hearts. 9 of clubs. South wins. Gets forced in hearts again. But then they can pull the last trump with the 8 of clubs and the spades run. So 4 clubs doubled is coming home, it seems, on this line of play from Kalita. Very well spotted. And Zimmerman is going to collect a big win. They're going to take a ton of imps on this board. It looks like they're not doing very well, by the way, because this is an imp score, but it's been following Zimmerman throughout the entire set. Super Koopa, you don't play BAM. It's non-existent in England, but I thought you guys had Paddon, and Paddon is half BAM. Still somewhat important to... Wow, he plays the 8 of spades. Oh my god. I don't think he played the 8 of spades. I think he played a high spade. That was crazy. Just hooking north for the 9 of spades. I don't think that happened. We're on to board 14. What is going on here? A club, a heart, 3 diamonds by West. Has to be a spade raise, right? So a club could be short. 1 heart shows 4 or more spades. 3 diamonds is balanced with 4 spades, I guess. Like the 18 to 19 range. And 4 hearts is a transfer. 4 spades by West. All pass. Klukowski opens a no trump. 15 to 17. Look at this. He's got an 18 count. In case you were wondering. These guys do like to play 3-0 as opposed to 4 of a major. So are we going to see the auction go 1-0, 3-0? Kalita almost has the hand for it. A bunch of kings and queens or no trumpy type values, a couple 10s. But he does bid 1-0, 3-0. Look at that. Okay. North leads. What is this lead, dude? North has ace king 4th and is like, nah, I'm good. Low diamond. How do you not lead a high heart there? So this hand is going to be very important. I think a lot of the hand is going to revolve around the club suit. Novak over here leads the ace of hearts against 4 spades, gets the discouraging signal from partner, and is now going to switch. But I suppose that means Declare can take a heart finesse and pitch a diamond loser. So 4 spades is going to make 5 at this table, even if Declare doesn't pick off the clubs. Meanwhile, Klukowski, He has 4 spades, 2 diamonds, and 3 clubs for 9 tricks. If he guesses the clubs, he'll get a 10th. But does he have any way to an 11th? Jack says he's played against Zimmerman before, and therefore this 1-no 3-no auction promises an 8-card major suit fit. He hopes it's hearts, so that he doesn't want to give anything away with the ace of hearts lead. I don't believe that's a serious reason to not lead the ace of hearts, but yeah, North is going to need to find some discards during the play in 3-no. But Klukowski is going to be very upset with the way that this has turned out so far. He does face an opening decision, or a decision at trick 1. He could put up the 10 of diamonds. If this holds, he's actually in pretty good shape. And then he has a good chance to duplicate the 4-spade sequence, because they might make 11 tricks if the clubs come home, but he'll just be making 11 tricks because he scored an extra diamond trick. The problem with putting up the 10 is that in the more likely occurrence that North has Jack 9 or Queen 9, he immediately blows any chance to make an 11th trick. Because South will cover, and then the 8 of diamonds is not a useful card. So playing low leverages the 8 of diamonds and possibly allows Declare to end play someone later. At this point, he can make it if he picks up the clubs. Or by make it, I mean he can make 11 tricks if he picks up the clubs. North, holding on to the ace-king of hearts, will get strip squeezed on the run of the black suits. So spade to the queen. Yeah, Declare just being very careful in their 4-spade contract. Pitches a diamond on the 9 of hearts. King of diamonds can ruff a diamond, and all their trumps are high, so they don't need to pick off the clubs anymore. Wait, what? This is not what happened. Okay. Great. 11 tricks. We figured it out. Actually, Klukowski's just going to go down in 3-no, right? North will probably play a club here, which might help him guess the clubs, but then he's just going to cross back to this hand and lead the 10 of hearts. Like, North would always lead the heart from ace-king, right? So, heart to the 9 once it's forced the king. He's just going to cross back and lead a heart up to the queen. Okay, well, that's kind of lame. I mean, I expect him to do that. Maybe he has some sort of table feel. We'll have to see. But without any sort of inference from the table action, and he can't see North. North is not on the same side of the screen as him. Yeah, a genius lead from Zagorin. He really got him. At the other table, moving on to board 15, a diamond 2-club game forcing sequence. West rebids diamonds, and after hearing 2-no from East, West decides to bid 3-no. This is an interesting one, because 6 diamonds has decent play. I mean, it's not the best contract, but there's a good chance that you can make it. With the king of spades on side, you're almost cold. But 3-no may well be a contract that the field elects to sit for. It is board a match / match points after all. Heart lead from south, 7 of hearts, second best from a bad suit. Declare should know that North has the Queen of Hearts based on the lead conventions. So North might have a bit of a problem at trick 1 if Declare plays low. I don't think North will get this one wrong. They should put in the 9. But if South could potentially have what? I mean, I was going to say ace 10, 8, 7, but then the 9 will just win the first trick. Zagorn does return a club to the jack and ace. Now a spade to the king. I mean, Klukowski might finish the spades at this point before making a decision, and that's going to exert some pressure on North. 9 of clubs comes back to the king. Get a little bit more information, unblock the 9 of clubs. Spade to the ace. North has to start finding some discards. He'll definitely delay his decision about playing a heart to the queen until he absolutely has to. So he can always do what he did. He played back a club to the king. Feels a little bit unnecessary and possibly risky to me. But running a few spades is always safe. North throws a club. Wild. That's in a completely inexcusable play. I mean, that's just going to blow a trick a lot of the time. Nancy, not a fan of the 1-no opener with an 18 count. I don't think most of us would be. I mean, they play a Polish club, but I'm pretty sure their range is 15 to 17 for the strong no-trump opener. Maybe I'm wrong. I know that normally we have a lot of Polish club players in the chat who tend to correct me on these things. South throws another diamond on this trick. Is Klukowski going to get this right? He might. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. He does get it right. Look at that. He pitches a heart and just exits a heart. North is end played. 3-0, making 5. And huge win for them. Incredible. Yeah, what a player. One diamond, 2 clubs. Same start to the auction. We're likely to see a 2-diamond rebid from Klukowski. Same 2-no rebid by East, trying to steal up as many strains as possible to make sure that East declares with that strong hand. 3 diamonds by Klukowski, and now Kalita does finally come out with the 4-diamond bid. He has excellent support for the diamond suit. Just wanted to hear if his partner was interested in playing in a non-no-trump contract. So 4-heart Q-bid. East is going to bid key card. They're getting to 6 diamonds. With the king of spades on and both club honors on, Declare can't possibly misguess this hand. 6 diamonds is going to be another win for Team Zimmerman. So Zimmerman cleaning up in this set, but it does seem from the scoreboard like they have had a bit of a rough day. We'll stick with them for one more set and then probably rotate back around to see all the other teams. So once again, the play is going to be irrelevant on this one, with 6 diamonds coming home at one table. We'll just try and pay attention to how Klukowski handles the play. Opening diamond lead, looks right to go about setting up clubs immediately, so I think he's just going to lead the 5 of clubs up. North will hop up with the ace because he has nothing better to do. Probably continue another trump. Actually, maybe at that point, North switches to a spade. This can be an effective defense if your spade, if the finesse is onside as a defender and Declare has already set up. So I have to imagine we're going to see the 5 of clubs pretty quickly here from Klukowski. If Declare seems to be setting up like a suit to discard potential losers, you can kind of get away with like just leading away from the king 10 of spades here, or even king jack of spades if dummy was ace third, because Declare might gamble on the spade finesse being off and the club suit coming home for a bunch of tricks. Like, for example, if Declare had a doubleton club, they might then gamble on clubs being 3-3. Up with the ace of spades, king of clubs, club rough, hope the suit comes home. And then, oh no, we have a bit of a surprise. Wait, what? Okay, that's a nonsense play at board match. Ducking the ace of clubs, I mean, just ducking a trick for no reason. That's wild. Is Declare now going to make an over trick? So what do? We play a spade to the jack, right? Once that holds, looks like he's playing a heart to the ace, though. But a spade to the jack, if that holds, we could, in theory, rough a club. There's some work to do for the 13th trick. Let's see if Klukowski manages to pull it off, or if he's just going to do his best to make 6. It looks like he's just doing his best to make 6. King of diamonds holds. Now a club rough. Queen of diamonds. But what are we pitching? I mean, you can make 7 if you pitch a spade here. Then spade to the jack, the finesse wins. Club rough, spade to the ace, jack of clubs. Quite dangerous, though. You don't want to go down because the other table might not be in this contract. I would say 2/3 of the field is likely to get 6 diamonds here. Maybe half the field. That's a safe estimate. 12 tricks and no trump. Declare ends up taking 6 diamonds, 2 hearts, 2 spades, and a club. Sounds like not enough. How did they make 12 tricks? I don't know. Oh my god. Klukowski does pitch a spade. Is he taking the hook? He does. Unbelievable. He risked the contract for an overtrick. He was that confident they would get there in the other room. Wow. Big decision, and doesn't really pay off, but it could have. It very well could have. And I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Zagorin, you feel a little bit defeated. Your opponents get to 6 diamonds, they lead a club up, and you're looking at the ace queen, and there's king jack 10 fifth and dummy. That feels awful, but it's no excuse to just give up an overtrick in 6 diamonds. If your teammates got there and your counterpart just hops up with the ace of clubs because it's board a match, it's not teams. I mean, even at teams, I don't think you duck an ace in that position. That seems crazy. I don't know. I don't get it. But Klukowski makes him pay. Maybe his judgment was the opening trump lead was a little bit weird against this auction, especially given that there was no ask for the trump queen. So North must have all of the missing high cards, and that's why North is almost essentially marked with the spade king. Maybe there was some signaling going on from South. I'm not sure. What was that? 2.5 for Zimmerman? They're on the comeback train. They're almost tied in the match that we have going on. So I think they play 27 boards, is pretty customary for the Reisinger. With a round robin for 20 teams, you're going to be playing 10 sets in one segment and 9 in another. I don't recall which segment usually has 30 boards. I think it's the evening, but I'm not certain about that. Oh, another interesting point about the Reisinger. It is barometer scoring for the final. So I don't know if today is barometer. I think it is. But that means that after every round, players are going to be able to see the standings. So we could have a lot of crazy actions being taken towards the end of the segment, or towards the end of the day, probably. Like in the opening set, people are probably going to play straight down the middle. But with the barometer, knowing where you stand, you'll know exactly how many points you need to make up to make the cut for tomorrow or to get into the overall positions on the podium for tomorrow's final. I'm not sure how I feel about barometer. I don't think I like it. Wasn't it 3 years ago or something or whatever that we were watching the Reisinger on stream and Zimmerman just kept getting gift after gift down the stretch because teams were way behind and they needed swings to catch up. And so they would come to Zimmerman's table and then they would dump 3 boards. And then they were like, oh, now we're out of it. So we don't need to swing against the other teams. Let's just kind of save face. I mean, it almost looked like unsportsmanlike dumping to Zimmerman. And Zimmerman ended up winning by a sizable margin. That definitely happened when we were doing commentary for this event. I don't know if that was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but it was quite disappointing to see that. Jack said maybe The morning set has 30 boards. It could be the case that you miss a team during the semifinals in the round robin. That's a little bit silly to set it up that way, but they might just play 27 and 27. I know that 30 boards is a lot, and the ACBL does not like having 30 board sets. It's been too long since I played in the Reisinger, so I don't remember. I do wonder about all these glitches where we're getting kicked out of the table, because that's been happening a little bit. We have Silicki, Tomas Silicki, and that team hopefully will get the nameplates updated after the first board. Could be short one club by North, maybe. South just bids a natural spade. I expect a Polish club over here from Novak. South also bidding natural spade, so 1-no rebid at both tables, 3-no from South. Same auction, East on lead, fourth best heart, gonna come out. What? Excuse me? We have no idea what happened over there, but VuGraph operator claims. Let's see if we can follow the play in this room. Find out what happens. After the heart lead. Hello? Hello? Okay, we were doing so well up through 5 rounds, and now we're getting the BBO experience from last year for the Reisinger. At least we have one table that we can follow. So we'll probably see another auction and then a claim here on the final board. Club of Spade, a no 3-no, declares setting up the club suit with Klukowski pitching an encouraging diamond over there. 3 tricks in and 6 more cashing tricks. Declare has already made their contract, and if they either get a diamond trick because the defense cashes a couple diamonds for them, or if they end up getting an extra spade trick, Declare will make the over trick and push the board. I mean, I'm saying Declare's made their contract because they have 2 hearts with the help of a finesse. That they don't know that yet, but it's pretty likely. 2 of hearts comes. Now Declare takes the heart finesse. Good defense from Kalita, not giving anything away. And now we have to see how Declare handles the play for trying to make as many tricks as possible. Certainly going to cash a club now to force discards from the defenders. Also a bit of a mistake to not play the 10 of hearts if that's actually what happened from Declare. That you want to conceal or play cards you're known to hold. And in this case, Declare is known to hold the 10 of hearts based on what happened at trick 1. West played the jack, and Declare won the ace, if I'm remembering the hand correctly. It's been a while since trick 1. Oh my god. 3-no got doubled. What happened in the auction? A diamond, 2 clubs. What was 2 clubs? 2 clubs is wild. Whatever South's hand was, it was not a 2-club overcall, was it? I didn't see the full deal, but it looks like we do finally have a play record for the 3rd board of the set. Why would Declare cash the king of spades? Oh, such a bad play. I hate that. You're just giving so much info away to the defenders before they had to discard on the club. And maybe declare would have gone wrong anyway. But 3-0 ends up making 3. What is Zimmerman plus 2? Huh? That wasn't even the right number of imps. Anyway. Hey, Super Koopa UK, thanks so much for the... I mean, that's probably, what, like 20 euros or something, or 25 euros. Really appreciate the support. Glad that you're enjoying the broadcasts. And I always appreciate the donations. So what's going on in 3-0 doubled? I mean, West doubled because they had club stuff, which is a very sensible thing to do at match points, board a match form of scoring. If the opponents are counting on their long suit to be a source of tricks, then if you know that suit is not splitting well for them and you have tricks in the suit or stoppers, then you can just double 3-0 in these sequences. £20, thanks so much. Appreciate the donation. So 3-0 doubled, goes down 2. Silver Flames, you think it was board a match, but that was only one board. How could they pick up 2 points on one board in board a match scoring? That's what's confusing to me. Oh boy. We have another hand. 3 diamonds, takeout double by East. What is South going to do? Looks like 6 hearts can make if Declare picks up the heart suit. A bit of a challenging contract to play, though. Oof. I mean, South needs to figure out how many diamonds to bid, if any at all. South passes over 3 diamonds double. I don't like that choice because West can bid 4 diamonds now. Basically pick a major, asking partner to find the right major suit. Whereas if South raises to 4 diamonds, West is going to be a little bit stuck if they're like 5-4 in the majors as they are here. Faster Wyverns, you think that Klukowski is going to be able to find the Queen of Hearts? Still a lot of work to do, though. Even if you find the Heart Queen, you got to rough a diamond. Setting up clubs is no easy feat. North leads the Jack of Clubs against 4 hearts. I mean, they made 12 tricks at the other table. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge for Klukowski. Maybe not, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, Jack of Clubs lead tends to mark North with some club length as well. North has preempted diamonds, and especially with South not raising the preempt, you expect diamonds are 7-3 instead of 6-4. That makes it a pretty big favorite to take the heart finesse. Good play by Klukowski. May as well lead a high heart out of hand. You never know if a defender's accidentally going to cover. Heart to the ace. Heart back. He does take the hook. Pulls the last trump, and now we work on the clubs. So 12 tricks. I mean, it looks like maybe even 13 were available if they don't cash the diamond ace with all of the spade honors on side. But that's a pretty big thing to play for. Run the Jack of Spades after winning the opening lead in dummy. Not so easy. All right, king of clubs and a club ruff. And we get a push. I guess we'll find out if the score is board a match. We'll see in a second. Maybe that was the glitched update why they keep kicking us out of the tables. 1:1. Okay, so they did something, but it's not really how board match is scored. Board match is scored on a 1/1/2 scale, not 2-1-0. At least they did this. This was nice. I appreciate it. East opens a diamond. Okay. So I have no idea what South was thinking at the other table overcalling 2 clubs. I have no idea what South is thinking at this table overcalling 2 clubs. This is insane. This is just totally insane. Polish style? I mean, I guess so. North raises to 3 clubs. East doesn't double. So this might just go all pass. I mean, Klukovsky's got to be tempted to double 3 clubs. But yeah, he lets it go. I mean, he just doesn't have enough in the way of trick taking. He has 2 club tricks, but so what? Yeah, down 5 for the push is probably not going to happen. A win to Silicki when they were able to double the opponents in the other room. And I mean, this might just make, right? 3 clubs. East has 2 diamond tricks. West has 2 club tricks. But where are they getting more tricks? EPL asks, how are our Seattle friends doing? I wish I could tell you, but we do not have a scoreboard. So, unfortunately, no clue. I can check the little scoreboard thing. Let's see. Is this going to give me any info? The scores shown are now correct. Our apologies for the earlier error. Wait a second. Okay, except we only have 1 board played for a lot of pairs, right? Because, well, I don't know why only 1 board is played for a pair, but there should be increments of 3 boards being played. And they're also scored match points. It's not a match point event. This is board a match. Do better, Real Bridge. Faster Wyvern said, interesting play problem. In 3 clubs. Yeah, Declare does need to find parking places for the heart losers. Cross match point sounds weird. I have no idea what's going on with the scoring. Jack of Diamonds comes back, but South is just going to pitch a heart on this trick. West is very likely to have club length on this type of auction. So West roughs with a natural, and now Declare makes 3 clubs. Silicki wins the board. Okay, let's pop back over to Team Rosenberg. We'll follow them for the next set. Oh no, VuGraph Operator didn't get the play at this table on board 18. It's all falling apart. We were doing great through board 15, and then suddenly everything just went downhill. Rosenberg did not open a preempt in diamonds, so I don't think Declare is going to get this heart position right. The other table got to 4 hearts making 6. Declares thinking about it. Does get the hearts right. Big read. And now just needs to work on the clubs. So a push for Team Shori here. Very important. Faster Wyvern says, Versace made a fantastic play in clubs if the play is correct. I'm sure it is. He was in 3-0 on which board? Board 17? Oh, they missed the heart fit. Wow. And then we have no idea what happened on this final board. I don't think 4 hearts making 5 on the East-West cards is what actually took place. Okay, I guess we can check out that play from Versace on board 17. Let's head into this table. Let's take a look at board 17. The other room got to 6 hearts and made it. No fucking way. Okay, too bad. What was 2 clubs by North? I have no idea what 2 clubs was by North. North leads the Jack of clubs. Versace plays a heart to the ace. Picks up the heart suit. Runs the hearts. Jack of spades to the queen and ace. Yeah, North pitched a spade. Man, North-South are not doing a very good job defending on this hand. Cashes the 9 of hearts, throwing a diamond, and then leads a club to the 8. Makes sense. Yeah, really big play, but I think I like this play. Like, why would North not lead a diamond? The reason North would never lead a high club from Jack 10 4th, and North would also never lead a diamond, or not lead a diamond if they only had Jack 10 4th. So I like club to the 8. I think it's 100% guarantee that North has Jack 10 9 of clubs for the opening lead alone on an auction like this. Like, South even raised diamonds, right? South made a preemptive raise in diamonds. So can't North split? Yes, North could split. But North also doesn't know that Declarer started with a Doubleton club. South has... Sorry, you see 2 mouses on the screen. South hadn't shown out on clubs yet, so North had no idea whether or not Declarer was planning to play a club to the 8 or not. I think North should stick in the 9 because I think this play is 100% from Versace. Yeah, it looks like a big decision. It absolutely looks like a big decision. But I would expect most declarers in this event to do the same thing if North doesn't split, and therefore North should always split. So mistake by Rombo. I mean, a couple of mistakes by North on this hand. Pitching a spade was a pretty big error. That gave Declarer a lot of confidence in leading the Jack of spades from dummy, and then not splitting the club. Let's head back as we wait for the next round to start. Don't know what happened on this board, but this is the signal for a push. So maybe it was a push. 4 hearts making 6 is not the result. This feels like it might be an adjustment based on the previous board, because that was the heart contract where you need to pick off the queen of trumps. Oh, Super Koopa says Raj mistimed the play. Oh. Oh my. So big oopsie there. And that is so costly at Board a Match, right? This is why, as Craig said, a lot of sponsors don't like playing this event because they just get completely thrashed at the table. Playing Imps, I mean, again, I always say Imps is like a slot machine, which it is. Like, anyone can win at Imps. So there's a lot less skill needed to pull off a victory in an Imp event. But in the Reisinger, you really have to have a very strong team. I mean, sponsored teams will win, but like your sponsor needs to play very well, or you need to get a little bit lucky when the sponsor is sitting out. So like Nickel was a frequent winner of these sponsored events because Nickel is quite a strong sponsor. Doesn't end up giving too much away to the field, and also hires a very strong team. Yeah, BAM is absolutely brutal. It is my favorite event. I love BAM. I loved BAM when I played. But I think we've illustrated on a couple of the boards that, you know, like Klukowski going for that 13th trick in 6 diamonds didn't have to, and it wouldn't have mattered in this case because the other table was in 3-0. But players take big, big, big risks to try and turn that half point into a full point. I mean, I didn't see the auction to 6 hearts, but that probably was also a pretty big risk, whatever happened. It's starting to seem like we might have a break after every 3 rounds, because this is the end of the 6th round. We had a bit of a break after board 9, I remember as well. I mean, we unfortunately didn't get to see this board at this table, but we did see it in the other match. For sure. Super fun to watch, and the decisions are... Every single card that you play matters. Every decision's equally important, in a sense. And when you're playing a lot of these contracts, right, like Klukowski in 6 diamonds, he gambled his entire contract, which happened to be a full board, on an overtrick in 6 diamonds. But that's because he thought the other table was also going to be there, and that his teammates were going to be a little bit smarter and take the ace of clubs. So he wanted to turn that half point into a win. The other table in 3-0, they ended up making 12 tricks. I don't know how that happened, but Declara probably took a few liberties in the play. I wasn't following what happened over there. You gotta be laser focused on every board. And I think we'll have Craig with us tomorrow. So Craig was my partner for 2 of my... no. Craig was on my team for 2 of my second place finishes in the BAMs. I was playing with Dana Berkowitz in both of those. So Craig also understands board a match at a high level. It'll be good to have him on, and then we can ask him why players are overcalling 2 clubs on ace empty 5th unfavorable. Maybe he can tell us. How many tables overcalled 2 clubs? Wait, I need to know this. Is there a way I can get the results at every table? Can I see the contract? So Lorenzini balances in with 3 clubs after the opponents find a heart fit. That's like okay. I don't hate this decision. I mean, it's very scary, but you do need to be competitive at match points and board a match. Kowalski overcalls 2 clubs, gets raised to 3. Yeah, we saw that table. South passes, Leo Rambeau, and then comes back in with double. North-South got to 4 clubs, but went down a trick. And then we didn't get to see these 2 tables, and then there was the 3-0 getting doubled. Two clubs even worse in BAM. I'm not sure. I think it's a lot worse in match points, actually. In match points, getting like a 10% board or whatever, which I would probably expect if you overcalled 2 clubs on this hand, is really bad. And you're pretty likely to be slated for a 10% board. But getting a 0 and board a match is not as bad. And sometimes 2 clubs can actually win. You know, like this whole 10% thing, like, I guess I'm giving some sort of EV. Like at match points, you're expected to get a 0 90% of the time and a top 100% if your 2 club overcall just works. So taking gambling actions that can pay off is not as risky at board a match as it is at match points. Because the other table may do the same thing, and sometimes it just does pay off, and you're not sacrificing, like, against a large percentage of the field. You're only sacrificing 1 board. I mean, I don't know if that... I'm not sure that my math is working out for this, but I think that's true. One no, 3 no, basically some sort of Stayman auction here. Pairs really need to learn to play 2 no puppet on these hands. Club opening lead, 4th best from Rosenberg. That's going to pick off the club suit, but it always was going to. Declare has 5 clubs, 3 diamonds, a spade, at least 1 heart. Supergroup asks what percentage of boards are tied. I don't have a statistic on that. I think tomorrow we're going to see a lot more pushes because players will have similar evaluations about what to do in the same position. Like, I don't expect most of the boards tomorrow to be decided during the auction phase. I think a lot of them are going to be decided during the play of the hand. Okay, club opening lead. Platnick is going to pitch a diamond. Declare will unblock, wins the king. If you run 5 rounds of clubs immediately, it does put pressure on East, but South also has to make some discards. 2 diamonds pitched from East. Now we can be confident. I mean, a strong declarer would be confident that East started with 6 diamonds based on these discards, especially given how fast they've come. So if that's the case, declarer can run a bunch of clubs and know to pitch a diamond on the last club if East doesn't give up a trick in the suit. Super Koopa, there was an event in Scotland where one team scored 24 out of 24 aboard a match. Yeah, that would never happen in this event. A top score tends to be around... I guess I can convert it to a percentage. So like 21 out of 27, which would be like a 78% game. That will happen a lot more frequently at board a match, even amongst very, very strong fields, because one team is just going to get lucky over the course of the day. They'll win 2 against every other team. Sometimes they'll get 2.5, sometimes they'll get 3, but like even amongst a strong 10-team field, some team might score 21. Punk, thanks so much for the super on YouTube. Really appreciate the support. Glad that you're enjoying the broadcasts. So like in a match point game, no one's going to score a 75%. That's just unheard of. I mean, basically no one's going to score a 70% in a strong national field. But in board a match, someone's always going to get an amount similar to that. Oh, Declare held on to their 4th diamond. Wow. They pitched all their spades. So Declare knows that Platnick still has 3 diamonds, and they were hoping that this would be... that he would get squeezed somehow out of the long diamond. I mean, I guess the heart suit is just coming home, so now Declare has plenty of tricks. And the board's a push. But I think a lot of declarers there would have pitched a diamond after East held on to his diamonds. It didn't seem likely that you could squeeze East later in the play. On to board 20, East opens a no trump in 3rd seat. 16 count, 5-card major. Even if South had a penalty double available, I like South's decision not to. South is 4-3-3, doesn't have a great opening lead. I mean, I expect him to lead a heart. Oh, he leads the Diamond Queen. Okay. Yeah, West has all the 10s and all the 6s, and in fact has a pair at the back. That would be very strong Chinese poker hand. 4 of a kind, and a pair. Difficult to beat 2 of those. Platnick's no trump gets alerted. The Vugraph operator at this table has been doing a pretty good job of alerting. I think we saw them alert one of the very first boards of the day. No trump range. Zagoran leads a heart. I think a heart makes a lot more sense against a no trump all pass, kind of along the lines of what we were talking about the other day, that if you give up a trick at trick 1 against 1 no, it often leads to the contract just coming home. and giving up a trick usually doesn't come back against a no trump. The 9 of diamonds gives me a little bit of pause for thought, and that's what Kaplan decided to go with. Holding on to that 9 of diamonds spot figures a little bit less likely that I'm blowing a trick with the Queen of diamonds lead. On the heart lead, I mean, Platnick is going to ask about their opening lead conventions, and if he figures out that the 8 of hearts is second best, he'll probably just duck the opening lead. I mean, he'll probably duck the opening lead anyway. North decides to play the jack, and it holds. So now what does North do? It just plays back the Queen of Hearts. Declare can run 5 hearts, but we'll have to make some discards from the west hand. In the meantime, after the Queen of diamonds goes around to the ace, Declare leads the jack of diamonds out of hand. It holds. Oh, now plays a heart at this table, setting up the heart suit. This seems like a very strange line of play from Declare. If you're going to set up hearts, why play the jack of diamonds first? And if you're going to lead the jack of diamonds, you may as well play another one. Now South is in, and you're hoping that South doesn't know what to lead. I suppose North gets to make a discard, but is that always helpful? Maybe the thought is that if I lead a heart and hearts happen to be 4-2, it's going to take me a while to set up the heart suit. And by then, the defense might have set up a black suit. So if I don't take my jack of diamonds immediately, South will always duck. Then it might be too late by the end of the play. And that could be the case. Platnick pitches a diamond on the first heart, or the first discard that he had to make, and now is leading the 4th heart. South has to come up with something to do. I mean, a diamond is safe, of course. But South needs to think through the whole hand. In the meantime, Rosenberg decides to switch to spades. And this does end up costing a couple of spade tricks. Now with the hearts coming home, Declare is content to just cash out. The defense will get the last 3 tricks, but this will be 120 for Team Zagorin. Nice result for them. We'll see if Platnick can manage to duplicate that result. South pitches what looks like an encouraging diamond. North throws a spade. Now South needs to find another discard. Spade relatively safe with no dummy entry. In the meantime, at the other table, Rosenberg opens a spade, 1 no from South, and of course at this form of scoring, we rebid 3 no on the North hand, maybe even at imps, but at board match, very attractive to do so with the solid spade suit. 8 tricks in hand, just need 1 from partner to make the game, and if we happen to take the same number of tricks and spades and no trump, then that's a huge bonus. On this lie of the cards, 4 spades would be a lot better. It seems like Kaplan's thinking about pulling 3 now. He does to 4 hearts. Wow. Wow. Big bid by Kaplan. I mean, he knows what his partner's hand looks like. His partner has a solid spade suit. And I guess he just judged that with all of his shape and such weak high cards that it was going to be better to play this hand in major. He's right. Look at that. East on lead. Tricky lead problem for East. I think I would lead the ace of clubs. And the reason for the club lead is that the opponents could have played in 3 no trump, and they usually would on this sequence. So the only reason they wouldn't play in 3-no is if they were probably off some sort of running suit, and based on our hand, that is most likely to be clubs. But it's a tricky position for sure. Diamond lead doesn't necessarily give anything away yet, but that 10 of spades is an entry. So if West doesn't win this, cash a couple of clubs, and then the defense knock out the 10 of spades, actually, it doesn't matter. Declare will have an opportunity to squeeze East in the red suits no matter what. Super Koopa says, would West have found the club lead against 3 now? Yeah, absolutely. 4th best, right? King Jack 10 4th. This is a sequence that calls for an aggressive opening lead because North is marked with solid spades for this type of bidding. And I assume they'd find the unblocks as well. I don't know what club West would choose to lead. I mean, if West leads the 4 of clubs, then the defense is a little bit complicated, but should probably still work. Still work out what to do. In the meantime, Platnick continuing to slog through this 1 no trump contract. Oh boy. King of diamonds cashes, Platnick ducks. He could have gone ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds, pinning North's 8. But he ducks it. That is a win for Zagorin. I think we've seen Zagorin actually doing pretty well in this segment. I don't remember where they qualified. I felt like they were about middle of the pack. But it feels like they're having a pretty good day.